I fainted, bro.
You fainted?
I fainted, and then an ambulance came. I was embarrassed. It was crazy, bro.
Goodness.
And I just remember just sitting in the ambulance. They're taking my pulse and stuff, and they're just saying, "Oh, you're just dehydrated." And I believe that. I believe that. And I'm just sitting in there, just realizing, man, my dreams are crushed. Literally, the next week, I got another audition for Hawaii Five-0 again. And this one was for a store clerk. Long story short, I ended up booking it, and it was like my first experience. Like, oh man, this is a possible journey, possible venture that I can go out into. I'm feeling good about this.
If people want to come at us with negativity, I just have one thing to tell them.
What is that? Life hack. Here we go. Watch out, don't get gout.
Velina mai kako, welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps it aloha by laughing lethally at funny videos online. I'm your host Kamaka, and I gotta say my giggles were pretty lethal when I first saw videos of our guests. But before we introduce our guests for today, I gotta remind you to check out keepitaloha.com to buy some KIA merch, and my other business mahaloshoots.com to buy some shirts just like the one I'm wearing right now. Use code KEEPITALOHA to get 10% off of all of your podcast merch. If supporting us with money is not possible for you, but you still love this podcast, please consider leaving us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. It would mean the world to us. All right, let's introduce our guests. Support for this podcast comes from Texaco in Hawaii, which features 58 convenient locations across the state. Fueling up at Texaco is fast and easy when you use the Texaco mobile app to pay at the pump. The Texaco mobile app is a contactless way to pay for fuel so you can get in and out of the gas station quickly. Fuel your car and fuel yourself. Pick up your favorite local snacks and ice cold drinks at your neighborhood Texaco today. Texaco at Techron, driving performance. Our guest today is a Samoan actor and content creator from the island of Oahu. He is known for his work on Hawaii Five-0, Magnum P.I, White Lotus, Doogie Kameaaloha, and Taika Waititi's new movie, Next Goal Wins, which I still have to watch. You may also remember him from his comedy group, Lethal Giggles, where he was one of the original Hawaii content creators on Vine and made hilarious 6-second videos. This local brada is making a name for himself in the local community and has been seen in commercials with brands such as McDonalds, First Hawaiian Bank, Zippys, Hawaiʻi Self Storage, and much more. I am super stoked to talk stories with him today. His name is Russell Satele. Aloha, Russell. Welcome to the Keep It Low podcast. How you doing?
Thank you, bro. I'm doing good. You did your homework on me. That's crazy.
The
he
beauty
knows me already.
of Googling.
That's
yeah. The first question I have to ask, well, first off, congratulations, Mr. Engagement Man.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm engaged.
Recently engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And then the next question is, were you always this handsome up close?
Oh, I'm never handsome. I don't know what you're talking about, but I just got lucky. My girl just felt bad for me, and she was like, I think I'm gonna stick with you, I guess. And I was like, okay, this is the time. And I have gout. Let's just get that out of the way. I have gout.
Wait,
I actually do have gout. Yeah, I have gout, and my knees were just acting up that week, and just decided like, damn. Well, when I'm down here, I might as well hey, will you marry me? And so.
And the rest is written.
And the rest is written.
Right on. Well, this is gonna be a fun episode. We got some friends sitting across of us right over here, eating some noms. Shout out to the noms. Past podcast guest Kulani Watson over there. Best boxing coach in the state of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Chief. Is it John? Chief John. Chief Asi. Chief Asi.
John's his government name.
Yeah. Oh, we don't use the government name. Yeah. Edit that out. All right. So we got a lot to get into, and I just like to start at the beginning. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like growing up?
All right. Well, so I was born in Ridgecrest, California. That is located in the Mojave Desert. I just Googled that this morning, but it's located in the Mojave Desert. And I was raised out of Mililani, Hawaii. I think I came over here when we were 2 years old. My dad got it. He had bought a house in Mililani in the 70s and moved away because he got a job in Ridgecrest, California. And then I just so happened to be conceived up there. So, I was born and then came down about like 97 and then raised out of Mililani, Hawaii ever since 2 years old.
Yeah, so Trojans.
Trojans all the way. Went to preschool at Mililani Presbyterian Church. Don't remember anything from there except for nap time and snack time, and
that's probably the one thing we all remember from.
That's all I remember from preschool
and food.
My memory started kicking in around like first grade, I want to say, where I went to Mililani Waiana, and then middle school Mililani Middle, and then high school Mililani High School, and nice. Pretty much just been there the whole time and never left.
Yeah. Well, so what was it like growing up, going through? Being raised here in Hawaii.
It's unmatched, I would say. So originally, I'm adopted. My birth parents are from American Samoa, and my birth mother, she is first cousins with my dad right now, the one that adopted me. So the story is, they couldn't really have any more kids, so they already had two boys and one girl before I came along, and then they wanted one more. And it just so happened that my birth mom happened to have me, but she couldn't raise me. She didn't want me to be raised without a father. So she ended up pretty much hitting up her cousin, which is my dad now, and they kind of made the agreement. Okay, we'll raise him from a baby, and do that whole thing. And yeah, they were there with me when she was in labor and stuff, and from day one, adopted me from there. But with that being said, I don't know where I was going with that, but I have two older brothers and one older sister. Growing up, it was kind of interesting because my sister wasn't really around much. She was already doing her own thing in the mainland. She kind of stayed back in Cali when we moved back. But my brothers were around for about like 10 years of my life. So my elementary stages. So a lot of the things that I learned and kind of adapted to, like, for example, they were very like heavy into watching like things like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. So I kind of like picked up on that and picked all that in. The certain type of music they listen to anything from like Tupac to System of a Down and
Sounds
stuff
like
that.
my childhood.
Yeah. So I'm double dabbling at a young age in these kind of things, and just kind of finding my groove and where I am in life and how I want to, who I want to be, pretty much, kind of, but not really knowing it. And then eventually they would obviously move out of the house, go to college, and then it would just be me in the house. And I remember a big part of my childhood was spent outside. Maybe the first 5, 6, 7, maybe first 5, 6 years, I was inside majority, just watching Toonami and Cartoon Network and all that stuff. And Disney movies, I'd repeat it. You know how you had VCRs and stuff, repeat certain scenes and just watch those and just do that all day. And then one day, I don't know what happened. I think my mom just said, you know what, you're getting fat. You need to go outside and make some friends, because I really didn't interact with any of the neighbors. And then I was like, okay, yeah. I'm gonna go outside and see how this goes. And I'm an introvert at heart. I don't like talking to people. It's really hard for me, especially at that age. I was just like, it was rough. And then just getting out of my comfort zone to be out there and like, hey, you want to be with my friend? So I'm walking around outside. I'm about like 5 years old, walking around outside, just looking around. And in my neighborhood, a lot of our neighbors, there was only 2 consistent ones. Everybody else would kind of like move in, move out. And I remember the 2 consistent ones, they were named Jamie Williams and Kapono Kuisano. And they were just, they were always outside. I always saw them. They weren't really interacting with each other. It didn't come until I kind of came outside, and then I looked and I saw my friend Pono. He was just on the side chilling with his dad. And I'm looking over there and I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get this guy to be my friend, but we'll figure out a way. So I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and then I kind of like look away. I'm like, oh man, he sees me. Okay, so I walk in the house, I come back outside, and then I see him. He has like Beyblades. Remember Beyblades?
I love Beyblades.
He has
Let him rip.
Let him rip. Yeah. So he had that. He has one of them, and he's just like, boom. He does that. He pulls the thing, and I'm like, okay, this guy want a challenge. So I go in my house. I come out and I bring Beyblades, but I had the Beyblade. I wasn't able to afford the real one, so I had like the fake, the McDonald's toy one. Yeah. So the McDonald's had a line where they would give Beyblades, and that's the one I had. I had the cheap one. So pretty much, I put my Beyblade on the little pad thing, and I pressed the button, and it just fell. And I'm like, ooh, I gotta have something else. So I was kind of disappointed. So I went in the house, and then I'm looking for anything I can find that would kind of one up him or something. So ended up finding a Spider-Man toy. I had a Spider-Man action figure and I think Green Goblin at the time, and brought him out, and I'm over there doing it, playing, and just looking at him, and he's all like, oh, okay. And so he goes into his house, and he comes out in like one of those bikes, one of those things, and he starts going around the block, and I'm all like, okay, I gotta say something to this kid. So I go and get my bike, and I come out, and I'm like, and he does that, and then from there, we just became best friends. And
that's so funny. But men, right?
That was just like the beginning of just like, growing up outside, enjoying the outdoors instead of being locked in on a screen all day. Like nowadays, it was crazy. Like I can't make that up. I don't know. Like
I know that's a great story and a good memory for remembering all of that. I remember some core memories from my childhood too, when we moved to this one place, and I had a bunch of siblings, but there's always neighbors playing across of us, and there was a fence that separated this road and that road.
Yeah.
And I would sit by our glass door, which is right by our kitchen, and I would always wait for them to accidentally hit the ball over to our fence. So I'd run outside and give it back to them. So we would do that for a while, and eventually we became friends, ran around the neighborhood.
Nice.
Water gun fight, water balloon fight, like all that stuff.
Water balloons, bro.
Yeah. Childhood was so great.
Water balloons, tag,
yeah.
The only time that I actually broke my arm and got a concussion was not from football, but from falling out of a tree playing hide and seek tag.
Wow, that's so funny.
Fun tip.
Yeah.
Don't climb a mango tree and expect to not fall out of it and get a concussion.
Yeah. You heard that here
Childhood
first,
memories.
Kids. Yeah. So while you were growing up in Mililani, going to high school, you were also playing football, right?
Yes. So I hadn't played football until I got to high school. I've always wanted to. Like my family was, always. My older brothers played ball since they were younger, but my parents kind of didn't want me to go and break my face, and so I wasn't able to go until they felt like I was old enough. So once I got to high school, freshman year, that's when I had my first experience, and I just remember going out because I've only watched football. I played in the streets, never actually been on a Pop Warner team or any of that. So it was all fresh and new to me. All I know is street stuff.
Were you in other sports before that?
Actually, yeah. The first sport that there was a time in my life where I was skinny, and then through elementary school I just got fat. I was like, that's small, fat, chubby kid. And then eventually, as I started getting taller, then I lost some weight. But my first sport that I actually ever played legit, I don't know if you would consider it legitimate, but it was tennis.
Synchronized swimming is legit.
yeah. But tennis was
tennis
was the sport. And I only took lessons. It's not like I was playing in doubles matches against like other people. It was just lessons, tennis lessons. So I guess I would consider tennis being my first sport. And it took me a while. I'm a slow learner. I'm a very slow learner. So it took me a while to kind of get the hang of it. But once I got the hang of it, I was kind of good. Like I wasn't bad. But
you could hold your own.
I could hold my own, yeah. So I would say tennis was the first one before going to football. But kind of got me used to moving, learning what hyperventilation is at that age.
How you discovered your cardiovascular system.
I discovered it. Not that I wanted to, but I did. I definitely did. Just running around hitting tennis balls. So from there went to play football. And because I didn't know, I didn't know much about football except for how it, what you see on TV and stuff. When we were going out for the tryouts, I remember I only knew like receiver, quarterback, the linebacker and stuff, but I wanted to be a receiver
Mhm.
because those guys are cool.
Yeah.
Make the touchdown. So
Yeah.
went out for receiver, and it was the worst decision I ever made because I couldn't catch to save my life. I dropped every single ball. They would launch it and they would have us like running routes. I don't know how to route run. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So when they would say like, yeah, do a post, I'm like, do a post, and I'd see what the guy in front of me did. He'd run a post. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I'm lined up. Boom, I'm going, and I'm looking, and he already threw the ball. The ball was already landing. I'm like, oh. And then I remember that was the first practice I ever did with the team, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take you over here and we're gonna introduce you to the linebacker coach right here. This is your coach, Coach Dylan. He's gonna take care of you. I'm like, okay, linebacker, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found out, it's like, oh yeah, because you can't catch.
Yeah.
You can't catch. You have no hands, so you're gonna play defense. And yeah, I played middle linebacker from sophomore, junior, all the way up to senior, and then senior I was a stand-up defensive end.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then how did your high school career go? Like,
oh, it was interesting. So I mean, because freshman year I pretty much sat on the bench the whole time, just watching and just like, yeah, one day I'll get in there. One day I'll get in there. And then sophomore year I started. We had a losing season, so you already know how that goes. And it's
hey, what is that?
I mean,
huh?
no, I'm just going.
You know my high school career? Because we did lose all our games at Kaiser High School.
Oh, you went to Kaiser?
Well, because I was Hilo, and then I moved to to play football and soccer. And I was a receiver and kicker.
Oh,
and then our only win was against Kahuku because that was the year they had to forfeit.
Oh, yep. Oh, hey. So I was a junior that year.
Yeah, I claimed that win all the time.
Oh, same.
My one win
here.
on Oahu was against Kahuku.
Oh,
we scored 0 points. I had one touchback because I was like, I'm kicking it in the end zone. I am not tackling anybody. I was like,
we're done after this.
I'm receiver kicker. Today, I'm just a kicker coach.
Today, I'm just a kicker coach. Right on. No, but like, yeah, we were horrible my sophomore year. But I got to say, that's the best condition I've ever been in my life. We had one of the old school coaches. His name was Coach Tanu. And he pretty much did everything by not by the book, but like old school, like where we're conditioning before the game. Like we're running gassers before the game and doing these push-up things. And I'm like,
bear crawls.
Bear crawls, all that stuff. And we're like I'm new to this, but all the other kids are like, oh, bro, that's not how it's supposed to be done. This is not how football is played, bro. You cannot be, getting all gassed before the game. And I'm like, this is all I know. So, So, but yeah, sophomore year was interesting. It was cool to be starting, but it just didn't work out. And I wasn't the best. Definitely wasn't the best. Missed tackles all the time. Junior year, I kind of got a little bit of playing time. Wasn't really in there as much. Most of the guys that were starting were seniors. They were studs. And just slowly learning as I go along through the program. And then finally got to my senior year. I remember I was on the verge of like starting it the whole way through. And do you remember there was this camp called the All Poly Camp?
Maybe.
It was back back during high school time, but pretty much they get all the schools come together and then they put on a camp to do like fitness drills and all that stuff and cone drills and try to get like college scouts to look at you. So I had gone to that the year prior, and I remember just enjoying it, kind of learning my steps, kind of finding my groove through the whole playing linebacker and all that. And then my senior year came around, and that same camp came through, and I had like some kind of family trip I was going on. But I had told my coach, I was like, I got this trip I'm going on with but it happened. It just so happened around like springtime when you're prepping for the season, you're getting all your people in line. And I had gone on that trip, and I really wanted to stay, but I don't know. I just, I took the trip, came back, and pretty much already there's a guy there. There's a guy, and I wasn't able to beat him out. So I didn't start going into my senior year. I'd start certain games, but I wasn't like a consistent starter. And I just remember that kind of like, it kind of bugged me. I was like, man, like I worked hard these past 4 years trying to perfect my craft. And then just seeing like, oh man, this kid, and he's a stud. He was a stud. This kid just came up from JV, and pretty much I got beat out from that spot. And I was like, damn, Okay, so at any moment when I get in, when I'm put in the game, I'm gonna try to, do my best to shine. And well, that didn't work. The nerves kind of got to me at certain times, and then I'd miss tackles. But like the one or two clips of the plays that I do have, like thankfully, like there were like TV games, so that I ended up being able to hold on to that forever. And yeah, when it came into going into college, that was my main thing because I really wanted to play football at the next level. Growing up with the last name like Satele, I had a bunch of
it before.
Yeah, a bunch of cousins that were playing for UH. They go to the NFL, and I didn't really
Samson, is that
Samson, Brashton, Lico, all these guys, and I've never met him before because it's kind of like a but it's a distant relation. So every time people would take my role in class, they'd be like, "Hey, are you related to the guy from UH?" I'm like, yeah, that's my cousin, and that's kind of where that whole, for me personally, that's where my cousin thing like that's my cousin line kind of kicked in.
And it probably put pressure on you, huh?
It did. It made me feel like, okay, I feel like I got some shoes to fill, even though I don't know these guys personally, but I kind of want to.
Well, it's just the last name, the weight of bearing the last name.
Yeah. So just seeing that and feeling like experiencing that, it's like, okay, I want to play football, and I did. Like I enjoyed playing the whole time. But as we went into college, I had like offers to like D2, D3 schools up in Oregon. I think it was like there's a Western Oregon and some other, I forgot
Pacific
what the other one.
or something.
Pacific, yeah. And I didn't want to take any of them because my pride was I wanted to play for UH.
You're just set on D1.
Like D1.
UH.
I don't care what I got to do. I'm gonna make this happen. And I kind of put it. I made sure it was something I was going to accomplish. I would constantly. I'd be training in the off season. So as soon as we graduated, I had to figure out how the whole transfer thing works. I had to be a full-time student at Manoa, but I didn't have the money. I didn't have any scholarships. I didn't know anything. I didn't really go into the college counseling services that they offered before we went into college, and I kind of just took it for granted instead of applying for like loans and stuff like that. So I ended up going to West Oahu, UH West Oahu, my first year. And then during that time, I would train. I would go to the gym like at least 3-4 times a week, just constantly doing what I was doing in high school, trying to prep for walking on at UH. I would talk to my coach and then my high school coach, and he told me how to do it. Pretty much just you gotta be a full-time student at Manoa, and you just gotta show up on the day of the tryouts, and that's what I did. I went to Manoa. Ended up paying double the price of the tuition at UH West Oahu just for this, because in my gut I felt like I should be playing football. Like this is what I want to do, so I'm gonna go for it. And I went all in. Went to Manoa, did the tryouts. Let me tell you, that had to be the worst experience I've ever had trying to get on that team. And this is during like Norm Chow days.
Oh,
this is during Norm Chow. So I mean, long story short, I didn't make it. No surprise there, but it was pretty much like a conditioning tryout. We did like one-on-ones here and there, but majority of it was quickness. So they tested our 40.
Okay, like a combine.
A combine. They tested our 40, and then I don't think we did like the T drill. I think we did like the T drill, and then we would split into one-on-ones. And after one-on-ones, we literally did 10 gassers, 10 full gassers. That's all. Stuff that I was used to doing in high school. But just that 1 year off just
pushed you back so much.
It killed me, bro. I thought I was prepping. Like I was running, I was doing all the cardio stuff, doing all the drills, because I didn't know what to expect going into this walk-on. And then I just remember getting there and we were doing the gassers, and like halfway through or on the 5th one, I'm starting to see stars. Everything is spinning. And I'm just like, oh man, what is going on? Like everything's getting muffled, and all I hear is ready on the line. Like everyone's going quick tempo, and we got to make the times too, right? And so by the time we get to like the 8th, 9th, 10th one, I don't care already. I'm moving like slow. I'm not even trying anymore because
trying to survive.
I'm just trying to be able to walk out of this alive. And I remember they called us together, and then they were talking about like, yeah, you guys, good work today, guys. You guys are the guys that you don't have a. Pretty much, they were kind of blunt about it. Like you're not guaranteed a spot. You're the guys that help us make these guys win on Saturdays.
The practice squad.
Yeah, pretty much. So just hearing that, I was like, okay, that's the last thing I remember hearing. And then I ended up going to the sideline, and I got some water, and everyone's looking at me like, oh, are you good? Are you good? Asking me if I'm good. And it's all muffled. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then I just remember fainting pretty much. I fainted, bro.
You fainted?
I fainted, and then an ambulance came. Oh, it was embarrassing. It was crazy, bro.
Goodness.
Ambulance came, and I got up, and I just remember just sitting in the ambulance. They're taking my pulse and stuff, and they're just saying, oh, you were just dehydrated. And I was like, I believe that. I believe that. And I'm just sitting in there just realizing, man, my dreams are crushed.
Wow.
Like this is what I wanted to do.
Did that hurt?
Like physically?
Yeah, I mean, like even worse emotionally.
Oh, very much so, bro. Like it haunted me it still haunts me today, but not as bad. Like I can live with it, but like just knowing that it's pretty much it's over. Like just being like kind of coming to grips with myself to hang it up and just move on. It was definitely a devastating, I would say, blow to.
Yeah. How did you move past it? Like you said, I mean, you still hold on to it a little bit.
I kind of I would say I redirected the focus more towards something else, and that something else was acting. Just trying to go with what I felt I wanted to do, Now that this dream's not working out doesn't mean I can't work on another dream that I've always had since I was little.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that helps me, so I got hurt a lot. I was way more athletic than I knew. So I always say like, oh, I could have, because I was also on the all-star teams growing up and all that, and I wanted to play soccer growing up. Then I got into football, and then that's why I came to Oahu to train with the UH team for football. And then I ended up staying, and then I didn't get hurt in a game. I got hurt playing sharks and minnows, where you would run across the field, and the coaches would just tag us, and no pads, nothing. And then somebody on my own team like ran into me from the back and just like rolled my ankle, and it was like super bust, and I was out the rest of the season.
Damn, bro.
So then I got better for soccer season, and after that I was like, I don't think I'm gonna play college. But I'm pretty sure I could have, especially if I went as a kicker.
Yeah,
because you play for like a D2, D3, probably D1. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, if you have a good background in like soccer, it's like you're pretty
good.
You're pretty
guaranteed.
Yeah, like I was a pretty good kicker.
Nice, bro.
But then over the years, I'm just like, I'm so happy that happened, because like, who knows if I would have stayed at UH Manoa and studied abroad and joined the Peace Corps and all these things that, are like, could have these ripple effects if one thing was different,
Yeah.
So like when people ask, would you change anything? Like I would never change. Even if you said, would you change anything if you could have played in like college or the NFL? I still wouldn't
change anything.
Yeah, so I don't know how you feel about that, because I love where I'm at today.
Yeah, I feel that, bro.
And maybe, if that didn't happen, you wouldn't be acting and seen on all these commercials and all these things.
It's been crazy, because like I do think about that, because that was my main thing when I was in high school. I didn't want to regret, like, because I've heard of like, oh, you want to do all this just so you don't look back one day and you feel like, man, I should have done this. I didn't want that. And I can say so far, yeah, I've been able to be like happy with the the life I've lived so far. But there is parts of me that wonders like, what would have happened if I got involved in football, like from like Pop Warner stage? How much different would my life have been? And where I could have gone with the football career if I had started early. But that's about it. Like,
yeah, I feel that too, on the level of where my mindset is so different now. Because I was, just a nice person. Like even playing football or soccer, like I would feel bad hitting people.
Yeah.
Like even when I would play receiver and I have to crack the linebacker. I had some highlights where I just like lay out the linebacker, but then sometimes I would like hold back because I feel bad.
You feel bad.
Like that was just my personality.
I feel that.
But now as an adult, like getting back into soccer, I play soccer now,
Mm-hmm.
and then even just like working out and other competitive things, like I just have a killer mindset.
Yeah.
Like I
So
want to be
attack.
better than everybody
Yep.
in even business and stuff. So I wish I had this mindset back then
When
when
you
I
were
was growing
younger.
up, because I feel like I could have went way further.
Bro, I feel that. And
Yeah.
sorry, side note, you just brought up crackbacks.
Oh yeah,
I
you were
got-
the one who would crack back.
Sometimes I got like one or two good crackbacks in my career. Majority of the time, I'm the one getting cracked back, like on punt return.
Yeah.
All these other things, because I was the same way. You know, I wanted to treat everybody
Mhm.
like I wanted to play, but then you gotta go in that mindset. You
Yeah.
gotta kill these guys. You know.
Yeah.
And so I remember the worst one I've ever had. It was against IAEA at their home stadium my junior year, and it was punt return, and I felt good because I came off of a nice play against Campbell the week before. I had like 2 or 3 good kick off tackles and
Mhm.
stuff, and so I'm like, okay, I can do this. So, but this one was punt. So we're on the punt team, we're punching them, and they punt the ball off, and I'm running downfield, and I'm right here. Like the guy with the ball is right in front of me. I'm about to grab him, and all I feel is this big, gotta be a Samoan guy. This guy was like 7 foot, I don't know, 300 pounds, and he came and he railed me, bro. Like I was on my back to
Oh,
the
wow.
point, and all I could hear was ooh,
Ugh.
heard the crowd, and I was like, oh damn. And I remember getting up, and I just remember I was like, like I couldn't
Yeah,
breathe,
cut
and I
wind.
was like, oh, this sucks. And
Yeah.
I just remember I went to the sideline for that play, and then came back out like maybe like 3 plays later. But
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal. I think, a lot of it is illegal now. Like the way
Yeah.
you hit people, like the side,
especially nowadays,
yeah, like the blind side blocks. I know a lot of it would, so as a receiver, it would always be on the toss plays.
Mhm.
Whoever was the slot or something would always have to crack back the outside linebacker,
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah, I remember when I was at Kaiser, we scrimmaged against St. Louis. There's a Marcus Mariota when he was playing. But I don't think he was there. I think he was doing some sort of other Peyton Manning camp or whatever.
Oh,
But I remember like having to hit the linebacker on St. Louis, and I knocked him, and I was like, "Oh my god,
Oh
he's
my
gonna
gosh.
kill me! Oh my god, this is the worst idea I've ever had." And then he like got up and he was like, "Hey, good job!" Like I'm like,
Hey, nice
God.
try. Oh,
I'm
thank
like,
God.
"Coach, don't put me back in."
Coach, I'm done for the day.
done.
I'm done for the rest of the year.
Yeah, because like you don't have to be that big, because you're hitting them when they're like a blind
it's the
side.
leverage.
Yeah,
It's a
and
leverage thing.
and they don't expect it. So.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just putting that out there to be like, wow, Kameaaloha strong. No, I just got him off guard. Like that's
he's
what it
strong.
was.
He's strong, ladies and gentlemen. He's just being humble.
No, but I miss those football days. And football is something that it's hard to let go, because say you play basketball growing up, you can easily go to the court, shoot
Yeah.
some hoops, get a couple friends, play a full game. But for football, it's hard to recreate that as an
Recreate that
adult
experience.
if you don't play in college. How are you gonna get 22 guys, pads,
Yeah.
like
Pads and
all that? And like at this point, everybody just wants to play offense, right?
yeah, yep.
So it's tough to do that. I mean, even there's soccer leagues
Mm-hmm.
that you can join, and makule leagues, but
Yeah.
for football, it's
not
always
the same
tough.
experience, especially when
Yeah.
you're playing in front of your community. You know, your community,
So
of
much
your
pride,
friends,
yeah.
your family, and it's like you hear the stand. I'll still have dreams about it. It's weird. I'll have dreams about it.
Yeah.
Like we're at my high school stadium, and I'm running around, and it's like that same feeling.
Yeah.
There's no other feeling
that
that compares to
adrenaline,
it.
yeah.
And like especially before Aloha Stadium went out
Mm-hmm.
of commission, like just playing in the Aloha Stadium in front of
hmm Seeing
Unmatched.
yourself on the jumbotron.
yeah, unmatched, and I'm like
Yeah.
trying to adjust my
I know.
Like, oh, my belly
Making sure
showing.
that the pants isn't too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the crotch area.
trying to fix my face mask. I didn't just get blown on my back. I promise. Stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's
I do miss it now that we're talking about it.
Mhm.
It's a great feeling, because I played in Aloha Stadium. We played against Pac-5, kicked the field goal there. And then I remember for soccer, we played at like the big stadium
Mhm.
in YPO. And man, like that feeling where you hear the fans, the crowd, the
just
energy.
all into it and react
yeah.
to it. It's
It's hard to replicate
recreate
that.
and
Yeah.
get that same feeling, that same energy that
Yeah.
you would get growing, especially at a young age like that. You're
Yeah.
you know.
You just feel like the man.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the guy that sits on the sideline majority
Yeah.
of the time, but I'm here.
Now we can just be the uncles who are like, yeah, I would have been
Yeah,
in the
definitely,
NFL if
yeah.
I never hurt my ankle.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm telling all the younger kids nowadays. Yeah, you know, I would have been outside linebacker stud, but I have gout now, so I had to just.
Now you just propose. That's
and now
all.
I just propose. Yeah. Do
So
what I can.
So unfortunately, just like your dreams, we have to move on.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know about your acting career because you started off with content creating, kind of in the inception of social media. I don't know. Were you into YouTube first, or were you just straight Instagram, Vine?
So if we were going back to like the original, even any kind of content creation that I've ever done, I would say I did some YouTube videos. They were horrible, but I've done some, and to the point where it was like I forgot what it was. It was me, just me and one of those digital cameras, and I was like lip syncing.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing back in the day.
I was lip syncing an R&B song. I forgot what it was, but I was lip syncing it, and I was like just making stupid faces as I would go through the song, and then I was like, this is funny. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. And I think the first comment said, "Why are you so fat?" and then the next comment, somebody was saying, "This isn't even funny. What are you doing?" And I was like 12 years old. I was like, rough. Oh no, it was my first experience with a troll, and I was like, I'm gonna delete it. So I deleted it because I watched a lot of like Alex Farnham, Niga Higa growing up. Yeah. Oh, there was one video I did make.
Smosh.
Smosh. Yeah.
Smosh?
Yep. I made this one video with my friend Alika, and we kind of recreated. You know how Niga Higa would do how to be ninja,
how to be gangster,
how to be gangster. Yeah. So we did one. This might get me canceled, but we did one where it was I don't know, for some reason we did how to be Chinese, and we had a DVD and we're how to be Chinese.
It was okay back then.
It was okay back then. It was okay back then.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we uploaded it, and then of course we got trolled on. So we deleted it, and I was like 12, 13 years old at the time. But that would be my first ever video for YouTube. Yeah. And then like years would pass, you know, I'd go through the whole high school stage with the football dreams and everything. And then it wasn't until I got to college where I started kind of dibble-dabbling in this whole social media stuff. And Vine was active that was the popular thing at the time. Vine days. And just being used to, you know how throughout grade school you have a certain schedule and it doesn't end till like latest 3:00 now. But just when I went to college, realizing that I only had like 2 classes in a day, and then I have all this free time after, what am I gonna do? Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that Vine was popping at the time, and so I'd be just scrolling on that thing, just seeing how it works, and I kind of got a little confidence from my old self, and like, oh, maybe I can put out some stupid videos, some random videos that come to mind. So I think it was one of the popular pages at the time was like Hawaii Vines. Hawaii Vines, and they were like reposting all these local guys doing local things, and I was like, oh, I can kind of do that, I think. So I'm gonna try. So I ended up recording one of my videos. I forgot what the premise was. I think it was something about I can lick you or something. Okay. And then the punch was
actually
licking somebody. Yeah. So I put that out, and then that thing got hits. Like it got reshared and stuff, and I think it was Kili Sosili, Kili Tuokoi. He ended up resharing that, and I was wondering like, whoa, what's going on? What is this? Why am I getting all these shares and likes and stuff? And so he ended up resharing it, and I was like, oh, that's dope. That's kind of cool.
And then dopamine just started.
Yeah,
to
all the
flow
dopamine
in.
was just flowing through me, and I was like, okay.
I am invincible.
Yeah, I'm invincible. I can do this again. And then I would create a character. I ended up creating this one character that to this day I'm just like, what am I doing? Like I look back and I cringe, but ended up creating some content with that character. He was kind of like the Bulaia kind of thing. He would be cross-eyed, and he had an afro on, and it'd just be a fob, dude. I actually had messed up teeth, so I didn't really need one you gotta put in there. So, before braces, I had pretty jacked up teeth, and I was just going in with this character and just posting it, and it would slowly build up the followers, and then kind of got more addicted, and then we would they would have like Vine meetups where other content creators would come together, collab, and do all that stuff. So I ended up meeting like a whole bunch of people. Like one of one of my boys, Bronson Varde, he was actually going to college with me at the time. But I remember seeing him in class, and I was like, "Hey, that's the guy that kind of uploads videos." And then we ended up like, "Hey, you want to make a Vine together one day?" So we did a collab that did decent, and it was just the relationship me and him had. I felt comfortable into like doing more stuff. So we came to an agreement like, hey, let's you ever thought of doing a YouTube page? And then immediately I was like, man, I mean, I did it before. I've been here before, but I didn't like the result.
Yeah.
But I'm down to try it again. So he actually he formed the group Lethal Giggles, and then he had one of his best friends from high school, P.I. He ended up bringing him on board. He's like, yeah, my friend's super funny. If you're down to do like comedy sketches and just going with that and just start building this audience, let's do it. And we were college kids at the time, so we had all the free time. So we were tapping in like once a week with just like random ideas, and it's kind of where I started to learn how to like write scripts and stuff like that, and just kind of slowly started to eventually see that I do enjoy doing this acting thing. Because like from a young age, I looked up to The Rock. I looked up to The Rock. I've always been like a huge fan of him. Just from his WWF days to WWE, and just seeing how he worked the crowd, just the promos he would do. So I would always try to like replicate everything he would do. And I remember like, man, when he went to Hollywood, I probably saw like every single movie he was in, like growing up, and I just like, man, that guy's Samoan. I'm Samoan. I want to do that, And that's kind of where it started, where I wanted to pursue acting, but I didn't really go through with it fully because what society tells you. You got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, especially my parents. My parents were very heavy on school, go to school, get a good job, do the 9-to-5 thing, and everything will work out. But something in my gut was just telling me like, no, I want to do this. So eventually, by doing this content creation with Lethal Giggles, it kind of gave me the more confident to go into doing acting or figuring out what those stepping stones were to be able to do that. And from Lethal Giggles, I think at the time 808 Viral just started. And Danny from 808 Viral had reached out to me and Bronson to see if we wanted to be a part of that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like we're doing video stuff, we're doing content creation for fun. It's nothing, like it's never been seen as like a business kind of point from my point of view, because originally it was just stupid comedy videos that we would do.
That's how collaboration back then was. Yeah. Nobody cared about the
Nobody cared about it. But as soon as like money got involved, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember we did the video with 808 Viral. We did Moke's Try vegan food or something like that. And then I just remember putting on this act like, oh, brother, like talking like that, because that's the niche they wanted to, attack. So once we did that and we came back for the next video, then it kind of started to turn into like a business kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, we'll have these sponsors, you guys get this free stuff, and then we'll do these videos and these reactions and stuff, and it was cool. It was cool but then it kind of like, we kind of veered off from doing our Lethal Giggle stuff in the time, because we were trying to do both hand in hand. And eventually, like once we graduated from college and stuff, like P.I, he ended up becoming like a firefighter, and everyone started getting real jobs, and so we kind of lost out on that time, and we weren't able to like kind of feed the audience anymore, because the thing about social media is you got to be pretty much like consistent, constantly reminding people, hey, I'm still here.
Well, because people start to expect things.
People will start.
You post every Thursday, every Friday, whatever, every Saturday.
So you got to kind of have, like, especially if you want to grow in that sense. But I know that like once we started to like veer off and go our separate paths, everybody started going like I wanted to go more towards the acting route. Bronson wanted to do more music, and then P.I was over there just, I want to go save lives. So Um, yeah, after that happened, there was a little bit of I would say like a little break for me personally, at least with the content creation, because I was trying to figure out how I can fully immerse myself into the acting side of things because I wanted to just grow. I wanted to grow and be better at doing these things, and so there, I forget what it was. Oh, it was something that I think they were shooting Jumanji
nice.
down here at the time.
That's the one with The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock. And I remember seeing my boy Crichton Wale. He had posted that he was on set with The Rock, and I was like, "Oh, The Rock, man, that's the man!" Like, and I texted him like, "Hey, man, I'd love to get a picture with him one day, you know, like just to meet him and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, so like I can help you out, and if you just you can actually like work with him." I'm like, "What, for real?" And he's like, "Yeah, so you just need to have headshots. You got to have some kind of like acting resume." I don't have an acting resume, so the first thing I do, like I'm very quick to like I want to get stuff done. When I figure out like what is the plan of action I need to take, I will immediately go and try to do it and get it over with. So he was saying get headshots. So literally after I got off the phone with him, I found like a mall. I think it was what was it? What's that mall over in Mauna Loa with the ranch?
I'm not sure, but I know like where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And like those kind of portrait
Yep.
hole in the wall.
That's exactly where I went. So,
yeah.
So I was like, okay, I don't know about any professional spots but I Googled it and it led me to that mall by Mauna Loa. And I went to go get some headshots. The guy was like, "Hey, what you doing this for? What are you taking the headshots for?" And I was like, "Oh, it's kind of secretive. I can't really tell you, but there might be a movie named Jumanji that I might be on." So I'm over there just trying to, you know, get this. I don't know. I'm being stupid.
Yeah.
And we take the headshots, and then I get back to Crichton, and I'm like, "Hey, all right, I got the headshots. I'll make up some resume, but what's the next step I got to do?" He's all like, "Hey, the next step is you would go out for an agency. You would go out for an agency, and then if they like you, then they'll sign you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And in the meantime, I kind of put it to the side because there was like casting calls for like extras and to do background work, and so I wanted to double dabble in that. So I was like, "Oh, might as well get around the set and see how it works." So I remember the first movie that called me was it's called Snatched by Amy Schumer was on it.
Okay.
But it was a mother. It was at the time it was called Untitled Mother-Daughter Film.
Okay.
So they're like, "Yeah, we're just looking for extras to be like a riot cop or something like that." And I remember going to the fitting area like a day before the shoot, and they're like, "Oh, here's your costume," and just getting sizes and stuff. And I just remember putting on the suit, and I was like, "Man, this is cool. Get to play dress up and get paid.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool." And so the next day comes, and then we show up on set, and I just remember being on the tour bus that drops you off at set. So you go from base camp to set, and I'm there walking around. I'm like, "Man, I want to do this." Like I had made up my mind that day. Like this is what I want to do. I was super stoked the whole time, and then you meet all kinds of people on these sets, and a lot of them, at least the ones I met that were doing background work, they're like, "Man, I hate it here." Like, if you hate it here, why are you here? Like, you know, and they're banking on just being seen in the back, like, "Oh, I just want to be on TV" and stuff like that. Like everybody has their different, you know, motives for why they do what they do. But I just remember being there, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Was it like love at first sight kind of thing?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. Before I had gout, but before I had gout, it actually got down on my knee and proposed to my real love.
Yeah.
I love you, babe.
I want to share this thing I just saw on Instagram. I was telling Oz and Jordan off the camera. It's this Japanese phrase that I saw called I think it's koi no yokan, which is it doesn't describe love at first sight, but it's the inevitable feeling of falling in love. So I just feel like that's like something that we can start to think of, because we always talk about love at first sight. When we do something, even like the first time doing a podcast or meeting somebody.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get this feeling where it's just like, I know this is what I want to do, and I can see myself doing it. And I feel like that's the koi no yokan, which is like, I think I'm gonna like fall in love with doing this. I can feel that thing. It's hard to describe, but I think that's like the feeling that I relate to more than the love at first sight stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can relate to that too.
Hey,
if you know what I'm talking
Koyo
about.
no kan.
Yeah.
How'd you say that? Koyo no kan? Nah. But yeah, I feel that. I feel that 100%. That's exactly what it just made sense to me when I got off. So with that being said, I did like, I want to say it took me 2 years to actually do a bunch of just extra work and just like learning how the industry works and what the set is like. And finally I got back to, doing that, continuing with looking for an agency. And I remember emailing the lady that he gave me her contact to, and he's like, yeah, just email her and then she'll give you a scheduled appointment and then you'll go from there. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I emailed her. She set up a date and time to go meet at the agency. And I get there and I just remember sitting in a room, kind of like a waiting room, and then it's super quiet, and then out comes like a little kid and a lady. And the lady's like, congratulations, you did so amazing on your audition. And as soon as I heard audition, I'm freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, audition, that requires lines from, I need to have something memorized. So immediately I'm Googling quick little monologues that I can learn. And I'm freaking out. I'm super nervous now. And then the lady comes in. She's like, "Hi, you're Russell." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm here to see the agent." She's like, "Yeah, so here's some lines." So she gave me a paper that had like 4 lines on it, and I'm like, oh, "Okay." And she's like, "You're gonna memorize this we'll give you like however long you need, and then when you're ready, just come get me, and we'll go and read you in front of the agent." So I'm like, "Okay, that's not bad." So I look at the lines. There's 4 lines on the page, and I'm like, "Okay, I got this. I can do this. I do this stuff with my friends. I can do this." And I take like maybe 10 minutes looking at it. I'm going over in my head how to read it. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So I get up, go and tell the agent, hey, or the lady. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready. She's like, okay. Takes me to the agent. And the agent's sitting down. She's like, okay. And when you're ready, go. And I'm all like, so I met this girl, right? We went to the movies. Oh boy, we had a good time. It was something simple like that. And then she's like, okay, that was nice. Now, if you could read that in a different tone. And immediately, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, curveball in my head. Uh-oh. I didn't expect this. So already I'm like, okay, and action. So I met I met this girl, right? And oh, what a good time. totally butchered that whole that second read. And I just remember the lady sitting there, and she's like, okay, could you help assist him to the waiting room, and we'll talk about it and we'll get back to you. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I go back to the chair and I'm like, man, I totally screwed that up. I totally blew that opportunity. And then sure enough, the lady comes back. She's like, hey, so I really wanted to sign you, but the agent said, maybe not this time. Have you ever thought of acting classes? And I was like, damn, man, another speed bump in the road that I didn't expect. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, we offer acting classes. If you want to take some with us, this is our schedule. I'm like, yeah, I'll think about it. And so I remember going back home defeated again. It's kind of like that similar feeling I had with UH. And I just remember just like, man, what am I gonna do? What am I doing? Like, questioning everything that I've come to do. And it's like, am I really cut out for this thing? And I took maybe 2 or 3 weeks of just, being all sad and down in the dumps and just being a little wimp about things and just not really picking myself up until one day Crichton ends up hitting me back up. He's like, hey, how's the agency thing going? Did you end up getting signed? I was like, nah, man. Like, they told me I needed acting classes, so I'm probably not gonna do this. I'm probably gonna find something different. He's like, why, bro? Like, why don't you just go out for another agency? And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should do that. So um, I was working for him. He owns a DJ business, wedding DJ business, and I was working for him at the time. And I remember one of my coworkers, she was signed with this agency called Bliss. And so I'm talking to her and telling her the whole story of, as we're getting to know each other, and she's like, "Oh, you should go out for my agency. She pretty much takes you in and stuff." And
She takes anybody.
She takes anybody. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." It's kind of hard to mess that up. So I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So I ended up reaching out and immediately signed me right away.
Wow.
Didn't have to do. And I was asking her in the email, like, "You sure you don't want me to read some lines, like specifically 4 lines in front of you, just to make sure I'm the right fit for this agency?" And she's like, "No, you're good. Yeah, we're gonna put your photo on the website, and I'll be sending you audition details soon." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, thank you." So like literally after a week signing with them, I get my first audition, and I'm nervous again. I'm like, "Oh man, this things are kind of rolling fast." And it was an audition for Hawaiʻi 5-0. Hawaiʻi 5-0. I forgot what the role was. It was like the husband of one of the main actresses. I forgot it was. But it was in person. This is back before they did self tapes, because of the pandemic they do a lot of self tape stuff. So I remember getting to the studio, and then kind of similar to something like this, just reading in front of the camera with the casting director. And I did it, and then after I did it, got it all out of the way, I was like, "Man, that felt good." Like I felt really good about that. Then I forgot, because in the industry they don't let you know if you got it or not. You kind of gotta just go and just hope like something hits, and that will give you the call. So when I didn't get a call, and then I saw my agency post somebody that did get it, I was like, "Damn, I missed it. Shucks." Okay, so this is what this is like. Okay, this is what it feels like to actually audition and try to, fight for a role. And so when I saw that, I kind of got down. But then literally the next week, I got another audition for Hawaiʻi 5-0 again. And this one was for a store clerk. And long story short, I ended up booking it. And it was like my first experience, like, "Oh man, this is a possible journey, possible venture that I can go out into. I'm feeling good about this." So I just remember getting the call, getting told to go do the fitting, kind of like how we did the background stuff. But this time I'm saying things on camera. So the pressure was even more on. I just remember I was kind of similar to when I hyperventilated at the UH tryout. I was like just like spinning, kind of like just like everything was just happening all at once, and I was nervous. I didn't know how to stay still. I kind of just wanted to get the scene over with, and then ended up doing the whole scene. It took like about like 3-4 hours to shoot like the scene, but just doing it and going through the motions, making sure I don't, thinking of all the little things that could go wrong, that I'm hoping that don't go wrong, and just hoping that I can perform like how I feel like I can. So ended up doing the scene and just crushing that. After we went back to, I remember going back to my trailer and just being like, "Man, this is crazy." It's crazy what you can do when you put your mind to something and you actually like work towards it.
And you don't give up.
And then everything just started snowballing from there. Like literally the next week I had a read for Magnum, ended up booking that. And then from Magnum, it went to, I think it was like my first commercial, and it was a non-smoking commercial, like tobacco quit line.
Yeah.
It was that company. And then I remember that one was kind of hard. That was like my first commercial I ever did, but it was hard because it was kind of like a monologue. So I'm looking in dead center into camera, delivering this monologue and just trying not to screw up my lines. But I remember it took me about 3 days to just actually get the groove of it and kind of like put some feeling into it instead of just sounding like I'm reading off a piece of paper. But that was probably like one of the craziest, just experiencing set after set after set, and just things going well. And then from one commercial, it would be, I think after that was the Marcus Mariota one. It was like First Hawaiian Bank. and it ended up filming with him. So that was dope. And just from there, things started to take off. And that's the thing about the industry. Like when it's moving, it's moving. But when it's dead, it is dead. Like there was nothing going on. So like that would go on all the way up until I would say 2020 about. Yeah.
Pandemic.
Yeah. And the pandemic would hit and things started to slow down. And then I forgot what it was. Oh, it was I think White Lotus. White Lotus had been shooting at the time, and I had auditioned for a security guard role, and ended up booking that. And from there, it was interesting because of the pandemic. We had to quarantine. We had to quarantine a lot of the days before we even shot. So they wanted all the cast members to be on set from the start of the film to the very end. So it was like 3 months of filming. But I remember because when the pandemic was hitting, I was working security at the time, and I just remember everybody was quarantined. Everybody was stuck in their house, and I wanted to be quarantined, but my company said no.
Yeah.
You are essential. I'm like, what am I going to be securing?
You were an essential worker.
Yeah. I was like, what am I going to be securing? There's nobody out here.
Yeah.
Like I'm securing it from the mongoose and all that stuff, making sure they don't get in the trash. But yeah, so I was like, man, I wish I could stay home and quarantine and do all that. And then this role rolled around, and then we ended up going to the Four Seasons at Wailea in Maui, and then we quarantined there. So I was like, man, that's crazy.
It's a nice place
that's
to
not
quarantine.
a bad place to quarantine. So
Yeah.
I got my quarantine wish over there, and yeah, it was just it's been a crazy thing just to pursue acting because just I've come to a realization that it's crazy. It's a crazy industry. Like I said, it could be up in one moment and immediately downhill. You could be riding high one day and then the next day you're broke. It's like there's been a lot of moments where I've questioned, like, man, am I doing the right thing by sticking with this? But my gut is telling me one thing, like, go this way, do this, do what you can do. And then my brain's telling me, yeah, but you broke. You broke. You got to figure out something to be able to make some money so you can be financially stable one day. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride just through this whole journey.
Yeah. Well, mahalo for sharing all of that, because it's great to hear the backstory and the ups and downs, the downs mostly. Because on social media, you just see the highlights, right?
Yeah.
You see, you see you on TV, you see you on the movies, you see the celebration post on Instagram, but you don't always get to hear people's struggle.
That's the one thing. Yeah.
Man, it makes me have a lot more respect for you and the people that do what you do. And I think people need to hear that side of the story, because it's not easy. And in any industry you're trying to get into, it's like you're gonna fail and you're gonna hit these speed bumps. But as long as you keep going, I think I mentioned it on another podcast. I think it was Chris Pratt that said this in like one of the interviews. He's like, the only difference between us successful actors and the ones that didn't make it is just we just never stopped, just never gave up.
Keep applying.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people, like I think Ian McClellan Gandalf. I almost said Ganondorf because I've been playing a lot of Super Smash Bros. Gandalf.
Ganondorf, so Ganondorf should go too, huh?
But I think his big role was Lord of the Rings, I think. And he was already 60
He was already
something.
old. Yeah, that's the thing about the industry. You can be any age.
Yeah.
And there's always roles for anybody, any age, any shape, any size.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing I was gonna add to is like people don't see the constant rejection that you would go through in the acting industry. They don't see like the long nights of learning how to become a role, how to study and become this person, and just kind of just it could be lonely. It could be lonely, and I just learned that if I surround myself with the right people, it's not as bad. Like, surround yourself with the guys that are going through the same thing. That's why I surround myself with like Kulani, them, John, All Blaze, those guys. It's just like we're all in a constant grind to make a name for ourselves, and just regardless of what society says to do, it just feels natural to just be there in the moment. And yeah, I just go with your gut and your intuition that you can do.
Yeah.
And just keep applying that pressure, and eventually something.
Koi no yokan.
Koi
It's this
no yokan.
inevitable feeling of love, and
exactly.
you love it, and you just can't stop.
Yep, and just constantly watching motivational posts to like keep you on that grind. Like there's this one quote from Denzel Washington that I love. Like he pretty much said, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're gonna get a haircut. So just banking off of that, it's like
I love that.
Okay, yeah, I need to put this bag of Cheetos down and go go work out or something, just stay motivated. And just keep pushing at what you're meant to do.
I love that. There's also a saying I have here. It's you drink enough shaka tea, you're gonna have to take a shishi break.
Oh well, I think it's that time. Is that
I think it's that time.
Is it that time to take a shishi break?
We'll come right back with some social media fan questions.
I gotta open. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Let me open my shaka tea.
Open yours. We'll be right back.
Over here, so nervous.
Immerse yourself in the underwater wonders of Hawaii's marine life with Hawaii Ocean Charter's hands-on guided snorkeling tours. Whether it's your first time falling in love with Waikiki or you're rediscovering its beauty just like me, there is no better way to see it than from the ocean. Personally, it was one of the best things I have done this year. I got to snorkel with some turtles and fishes, and I was able to catch the coolest sunset over the water. Conveniently located in Kaka'ako with online booking and live availability, finding the perfect day on the water couldn't be easier with them. Ride in style on their unique and well cared for power catamaran that offers all the amenities you need. Locally owned and operated, their friendly crew lives for sharing their love for the ocean with others. Sunset cruises, guided snorkeling tours, whale and dolphin watching, coastal sightseeing, and fireworks shows are among the tours their guests love the most. Use code KIA50 to get $50 off of your next charter. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. We're going to get into the social media fan questions presented by Texaco in Hawaii.
Ooh.
Okay?
All
This
right.
first question comes from Kaloa Robinson. He wants to know, what would your dream role in a movie be and why?
Ooh, I've thought about this a couple times, but I'd say some kind of star football player. And because I just never got to, I feel like, live my glory days out. And I think it'd be cool to be able to do that on film.
That would be super
And
cool.
that would be probably my number one dream role. Some kind of football player.
Yeah. Like Chad Michael Murray in that one movie.
Yep. Or Michael Orr in The Blind Side. I don't know. I'll just eat a bunch of cheeseburgers.
Awesome. Okay. This next question comes from das.gel.anden. This person wants to know, how do you deal with negativity and SHIT talk? Sorry, I don't swear.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
this doesn't sound as cool. I'm sorry.
All right. No, I'm just trying to prep myself to be able to prepare this in a way you won't have to use any blur.
Oh, you can swear.
Okay. Well, mother.
Yeah.
No. So
Go for it.
how I deal with negativity and S talk. So for example, like trolls on like social media. At first, I still get tickled about it. Like when I see somebody put negative comments towards something I put effort into putting out there. At first, I would just I think I would respond. I think I would used to respond, but I'd respond in like a sarcastic way.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not taking this personal, but I am.
Yeah.
But I still want to let you know that I see your thing. And then I started to realize, maybe not giving them attention is something I should do. And so now if somebody drops something negative on my post, I just kind of like, I'll like scream at it. I'll be like, I'll say a bunch of, 4-letter words towards you. Like, yeah, you do that. And then just get it out of my system.
Nice.
And then scroll.
Yeah.
Scroll past it, because it's not worth putting energy towards if somebody's purposely, trying to just bring you down because it helps them sleep better at night. Like, for example, we were shooting the other day.
I saw that.
We were shooting, and this we're doing like a high quality shoot where we have like fancy cars and stuff like that, and we have like a kind of run and gun shoot scene where we're doing we're doing something in this lobby of this upscale.
My friend lives there.
Okay,
That's
fair.
why I recognize it.
Yeah, so that spot, and it's empty majority of the time. And we had called prior asking, hey, can we use your spot to film? And we got an okay from somebody. They're like, yeah, you're good. So we got there. We're scoping out the area. We're looking around, and nobody's pulling up. And a security comes around the corner. He's like, hey, bro, I love your guys' videos, bro. I'm like, oh, thank you, bro. Thank you for the support. He's like, yeah, bro. He's like, what you guys shooting? You guys shooting a video? Like, yeah, we're shooting a video. He's like, okay, Roger, right on. Yeah, shoots. And I was like, oh, what's your name? He's like, oh, my name's John, bro. I'm like, okay, John, good to see you. Walks off. And then fast forward to maybe like an hour later, we're in the midst of shooting, and out comes another security guard. And he's like, hey, man, what are you guys shooting here? You guys don't have any permission? Who'd you get permission from? And we're like, oh, this guy, we called the building earlier, and they approved it, that we can shoot here. And then he's all like, oh, okay, well, did you get permission from corporate? And they're like, oh, no, but brother John said it was cool, so should be good, huh? And he's all like, John? We're like, yeah, he has the same security uniform you have. He's walking around, doing security work, and he's all like, oh, I don't know anybody named John, man. I think that must be one of our new guys. But I'll call my supervisor and see if you guys. So he calls the supervisor, and while he's calling that supervisor, they're parked in the lobby area, kind of not really blocking. Like there's still
there's room to get by.
There's room to get by, and out comes this lady, this
Karen.
Karen, yeah, this Karen lady.
I feel like Karen is the PC way to talk about this type of person.
So
right?
So I mean, I've never experienced. I don't think any of the boys ever either. Experienced a live action Karen in the full flesh, and she was coming out hot. Like she was like, "What up is going on? Oh my gosh, why are you over there? This is absolute bull. You're not allowed to be. You're not allowed to be here." And we're looking. We're all like in shock. We're like, "What is going on? Is she really like complaining?" And she's like, no, this is bull. You need to get out of here. And meanwhile, Kulani goes to talk to the security guard, like thanking him, like thank you for letting us do this. I'm sorry, we're causing the scene right now. And as he's saying sorry, the lady goes, no sorries, bye. It's like she was part of NSYNC or something. Like, it's like, girl, like, why are you getting so hot and bothered right now? And she had the nerve to say, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. And just, yeah, it was just crazy. But going back to the negative stuff, you just gotta turn a deaf ear to it and just smile. Kill them with aloha.
Yeah. Aloha always wins. That's like something that I've really had to hold myself accountable to, because I am the keep it aloha guy now, and I talk about aloha. So it's like, at first I would comment, and a lot of it would be about guests or things that they're saying. So it was never really about me until maybe like couple months ago. But I would always get defensive over the guest or whatever, and I would try to respond something witty. And same with you, like, I'm not offended by it, but then I'm still responding.
Yeah, but really I am.
Yeah, but I've gotten to a good point, especially after what happened last time when so many people were attacking me. I'm just like, I laughed at it, and I really just thought like, man, this is what brings them joy. This is what's filling their cup.
Yeah.
When a lot of times it's people, I think that a good way, I don't know if somebody told me about this or I looked at it. It's like the people on social media, the trolls, they're the people that watch sports on the couch and start yelling at the players playing.
And break their TVs.
Oh, come on, what was that?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have thrown a better pass than that.
And you've never played a sport.
And it's like, oh, how could you drop that, you stupid mother.
Yep.
And so those are the trolls online, which they have nothing better to do but to complain, but they're not actually doing it.
They're not doing anything.
The people who are actually doing it, you, me, people here, look, we're working, we're doing stuff. We're not in the comment section commenting about other people's lives, complaining. We're out here doing. So after like shifting my mindset and thinking about that, I just started feeling sorry for them, and just didn't even, like, it doesn't even bother me anymore. I can look at a comment, read it, and just feel like, okay, I'll let other people fight against each other. And to me, I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep living my life. Like, you go do that, I'm just gonna go watch anime.
Same, bro.
I'm gonna read subtitles. I don't want to read these comments.
I don't want to read these negative comments.
So it's like it made me so much more peaceful just getting to that point. But I wasn't always like that. But it was only recently, like in the last couple of months, where I was able to get to a very peaceful place where these things don't bother me. And it was because of thinking like, I'm actually doing stuff. And it's not brave to just comment behind a screen, make a video about somebody else. That's not bravery.
Yeah.
Bravery is being vulnerable and sharing stuff, expressing ourselves, sharing our opinions. And again, opinions. Yeah. They're just opinions, you know. We're not here saying what we're saying is facts besides our own anecdotal stories.
Yeah.
So it's just where I feel bad for those.
At the end of the day, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody, and that's just something you just got to come to realize and just move on from it and just keep doing what you do, because at the end of the day, you started this without, you know, the negativeness. And even though it's coming in at the time, it's like, just got to brush it to the side and remember why you started and why you're so passionate about a certain thing and just going for it.
Yeah. Put on that Aloha armor. So that bounce off. Yeah. And if people want to come at us with negativity, I just have one thing to tell them.
What is that? You holy. Yes, you are holy.
All right, so we'll get to this next question. And this question actually comes from a really good friend of yours, of ours over here, who's sitting right in that couch. Do you actually want to come on here and ask the question, or you want me to just ask it? You want to make a little guest appearance?
Well, I guess.
Okay, you're chilling. Okay. All right, well, this comes from Kulani Watson. He wants to know, reminisce about a time where you wanted to quit as an actor/creator. How did you overcome it?
Ooh. So like I was saying, it was a very, I mean, being in this industry, it's very roller coastery. So you can be high at one moment and down in the dumps the next. I would say, so there was this show that was shooting, 2022. And it's Jason Momoa's Chief of War. And it's probably the closest I've ever gotten to hitting the big one. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not doing all this acting stuff for like attention or, you know, look at me, I want to be like A-list actor. No, I don't want none of that. Like, my main thing is I truly love acting. I truly love everything that goes into it. And my main thing is I want to be able to obtain some kind of financial stability. That way I can pay back everything my parents gave me growing up. Because growing up, I had a decent life. I can't complain. My mom and dad always made sure I had food on the table, was always taken care of. So my main thing is I want to be able to pay them back tenfolds. And they're kind of up there in age. They're already like in their 70s and 80s. And I'm like, man, I'm constantly telling myself, like, I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure something out. And so there was the Chief of War show that was that I had auditioned for back in like March of 2022. And I kind of just threw it out there. I was auditioning to play his brother, basically. The role was Namake. And I read for it, kind of just threw it out there, and just wanted to see where it went. Like how you do every audition. And then maybe like a couple weeks pass, and then I get a call back. And I'm all like, okay, that's cool. That's good to know. And I'm studying this character, trying to, like, you know, man, it kind of answered, like, man, this is possible. This is possible that I could go down this route. So I'm envisioning all these things that could happen if I end up booking this role. So I'm putting my whole heart and effort into these scenes that they're sending me. I'm studying it. I'm make sure I have the right beats, take the right beats, and deliver it properly, and have different moods ready just in case, you know, the director has it change up. And so I submit that. I submit the second audition, and then a couple weeks pass again, and you don't hear anything, right? They don't say, like, they just say, good job, you know, we'll let you know if you got it or not. And you're just kind of like constantly checking your email and like, oh, did I get it?
Every vibration, you're like,
oh man, dominoes again. Stop hitting me up. But yeah, and so I would check my phone frequently and wouldn't hear anything for another 2 weeks, and I kind of started to see a pattern. Like every 2 weeks, there's a callback coming, and eventually the third callback would come in, and this time it was for the same role as for Namake, and I was supposed to it was a Zoom call with pretty much everybody except for Jason, and so when I found that out, I was like, oh man, this is getting real. And in the process of it all, they wanted us to, it's a period piece. So they wanted us to grow out our hair. So I couldn't shave. I didn't know what a razor was for a good 2 months of just doing these callbacks. So I looked pretty rugged. Like I could use $1. And it was rough, literally. And I'm doing these callbacks, and this third callback, Justin Chan. You actually did. Yeah. So I was
in it.
So Justin Chan was directing it, and I was on the call with him and all the producers, all these guys, and I'm reading the lines with him, and I feel good. Like it feels amazing. Like I got it. Like I'm in my bag on this one. So I'm doing it, and then we end the call, and I feel like everybody, like I felt in acting, I've heard that you got to win the room. You got to win the room, and I felt like in that moment I did. I felt I could hear people like reacting to the way I did my lines, and then if just the way, like if I would throw a joke in there here and there, and then people would laugh, I'm like, okay, that's good, I got somebody in there. So I did that audition, and then put it to the side, kind of like, oh man, this is getting real. And 2 weeks passed again, and then I get a call from the casting director, and she says, hey, are you able to read for this other role? The casting's kind of going crazy right now. If you could read for this next role, it's for the youngest brother. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I'm down. So in my head, I'm thinking like, was my audition bad? Like, did I read that wrong? Is it horrible? And so I started prepping for the youngest brother, and I kind of already know the scenes, because the scenes that I read for the older brother, it was the same scenes. Just I'm saying his lines now. So I go and read the younger brothers, but this one is a self-tape, and I submit, so it's no more Zoom calls. So I submit that, and then 2 weeks pass again, and I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation with my fiance now and her family, and we're at Disneyland, and I get a call from the director, or the casting director, and she's like, hey, I'm so sorry, but casting wants to see where you fit in the script. Could you read for this other role? And it's for like one of the princes. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. And already I'm going downhill in my mind. I'm like, man, this is not going how I planned it. And I'm just like, okay, just stay calm, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Trust your gut, and just keep applying the pressure. And then so I go, I read for this prince role, and I submit it, and I don't hear anything for about like 2-3. I don't hear anything at all. Actually, I don't hear anything at all. And so during this process, there was somebody had reached out to me over Instagram. It's my boy Peter now. Peter Filumawa. He's a director and writer from LA.
He left you a question, actually.
Oh, perfect. So it's him, and he wrote a short, I believe. It was his thesis from USC. His USC thesis. He was graduating from USC, and this was his thesis project. And he wanted me to audition for the lead role for that project. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, nothing's going on right now. I'm just kind of waiting in the callbacks. Yeah, I'm down to do it. So I auditioned for him, and I remember doing it, and I felt good because it was actually playing a football player. So I was like, man, I'd love to do it, and I did it. Ended up getting a call back with him, and long story short, ended up booking the role, and then the flight was paid for. I had lodging at his.
Nice.
I was able to stay at his house, and so we set dates. It was only going to be a week shoot. I just had to be up in LA for that at the beginning of 2023, I believe, and we were just gonna bang out that that scene. Or no, it was October. It was October of 2022. Yeah. So I'm banking on this. Like, okay, this is something. At least I'm making a step in direction. Okay, I didn't get the Jason Momoa thing. I'm cruising. At least I'm doing something towards my career. And I'm flying up in October to LA, and as I'm on the plane, I'm getting a call from my agent, and in my head, I'm like, "Oh man." I didn't tell her that I was going to take this project, so I'm wondering if I'm getting in trouble for taking this project, which she's not like that. She's not even close to being that kind of agent. So I'm like, no, it can't be that. So instead of answering the call mid-flight and then getting cut off, kind of wait until we land. And as soon as we land, I have like multiple notifications from the casting director, and then my agent, and just calling, asking, "Where are you? Are you able to answer the call? Hop on a call." And then I'm freaking out. I'm like, "What is going on? Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble." Boom, I call her. Like, "Hey, Lashana, everything all good?" She's like, "Yeah, I got a hold of your girlfriend. She's told me you were going to LA. What are you shooting up there?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm shooting what's USC thesis. Hope it's okay with you. Everything's all good." She's like, "Oh yeah, everything's good. Just so the chief of board guys hit back, and they want you to be on island um this week. Are you able to come back?" And I'm all like, "Wait, but I told her, I was like, "I kind of agreed to do this shoot with Peter. Like, I'd love to be there, but I kind of committed to this already." And she's like, "Okay, let me call the casting director and see if we can work around that." And so I hang up, and this is my first time meeting Peter. And I love Peter. Peter's amazing. He's the kindest dude, and I felt so bad because he trusted me to play this role for his project. This is his baby, and I'm supposed to be taking the lead. And now I'm on the verge of telling this guy, like, "Oh, nice to meet you, Peter, but I might have to boogie. I might have to go back home." And everything's spiraling in my head. Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And eventually my agent calls back in 10 minutes, and she's like, "Yeah, the production requesting that all the guys that are, up for the roles be back on island, because it's kind of like a run and gun. They're doing a run and gun thing where it's like boom, boom, boom. They're trying to get everything done and make sure everybody's there." I'm like, okay, sounds good. And I'm about to just like, "No, I'm good. Like, I think I'm gonna go with Peter's project." But then she ends up dropping like the statistics, the numbers that come with this role, and I'm all like, "Those are life-changing numbers."
Wait, as in audience or pay? What do you
Pay.
pay? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, those are life-changing. Like, I could definitely, start paying back towards my parents if I book this role. And that's all that was going through my head. It's like, damn, now I'm stuck with a decision where I gotta choose, and I'm one to stand by my word. I'm not. This is so out of character for me to even consider doing this. And so I got I was like, "Okay, I'll confirm later tonight. I'm gonna talk with the director and see if I can work out something." So I ended up meeting Peter. "Hey, nice to officially meet you. Appreciate you taking a chance on me, but I'm just gonna come flat out clean. Like, I've been in the callback process for this project, and it's a life-changing opportunity. Would it be possible we could shoot later on, or continue?" And he had already booked out. You already know how it is to get like people to get set gear together, align schedules. He had it all planned for this whole week coming up, and I'm thinking, "Man, what do I do? What do I do?" And I was talking to him like, if there's any way I could possibly, shoot this quick, or see what the odds are me staying here, and then or me leaving, coming back, and then reshooting. And then he's all like, "Oh shoot, I don't think we'll be able to do that." So um it came down to him having to rely on the backup for the role, which he killed that role. I mean, he did amazing to it. But I just remember coming back, and I just felt like weird. It was just a weird feeling. I kind of went with my gut, and when I got back on island, I told my agent and the casting director, like, "Okay, I'm back. Everything good. Just let me know when they call me and stuff." And they just never called me. They never called me, and I was going through it. Like,
I'd be pissed.
I was done. Like, I was like, I didn't know how to explain the feeling I was going through at the time. Like, it was rage. I was sad. I was just upset and kind of like beating myself up. Like, idiot. Like, you should have just stayed up there and, stuck with your word. And I even called these guys too. I was going through. I was like, what do I do? I was asking. I remember John specifically said, like, no, Lucy, you got to stick with your word. You got to do it. And then I don't know. I definitely regret doing that, because when I got back and heard nothing, it just made me like, I was feeling every emotion possible, just angry, mad. And I knew that what I wanted to do now was try to get on the set somehow get on the set, just so I could not figure out, but like, maybe I'll run into one of the directors and one of the writers and stuff. And throughout this whole process, the writer for the show had been messaging me on like Instagram, just saying he saw my tape and he really loves my tape and everything. So I kind of have like a little relationship going with him, and then Justin Chan, because I knew him through past auditions for other things as well. And so yeah, I get back, and David Tuitupo, he ends up hitting me up. He's like, he had gotten on for doing stand-in work for the project. He was standing in for Jason Momoa. So he's like, hey man, you wanna do some stand-in work? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do some stand-in work. I'd love to come check it out. And so he's like, all right, just send them your info and they'll be reaching back to you. Sent them my info. They got back to me. They asked if I could work that next day. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm totally open. And so I went. And then I remember getting there on set, and the first person I see is Justin. And he sees me. He's all like, hey, what's up, Russ? I'm like, hey, what's up, Justin? And I kind of had like not like a salty feeling,
A little bit resentment.
but a little bit of resentment. And I was like, man, what's up, man? Like, it would have been nice to be able to work on the project with them. And he goes, hey, man, I'm gonna go set up the shot, but I'll come back and talk to you about your audition after. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so he goes, does his thing, and then we're standing. I forgot where this was. I think it was one of the valleys in North Shore, and we're standing overlooking, and I'm just like imagining, like, man, this would have been crazy to be a part of, but I still am a part of it, but like, you know what I mean?
In a bigger role.
Yeah, on a bigger role. And I'm standing there, and then he comes up, he's like, hey man, just wanted to talk to you about your role and everything and how it went. And he pretty much told me that everything that I did, all the choices I made was perfect, a spot on character. He wanted to go with me because he felt like I brought more vulnerability to the character. So he really loved that energy I put towards but it pretty much came down to Jason's decision. It's his baby. He was saying this is his baby, and it was between me and then the guy that got the role. So it pretty much got second place for it. And in my head, I was like, oh, that's crazy. And he told me this because nobody tells you anything. Nobody tells you if you're doing something wrong. Nobody tells you, like, yeah, you're bad at acting or stuff like that.
Like, you never get closure.
Yeah. But he's saying that he's like, because he's an actor as well, and he's all like, he knows what this feels like to not know what went wrong and stuff. And he just said, everything you did was perfect. Keep doing what you're doing because you're on the right path. But sometimes a lot of the stuff is out of your control. And when he told me that, I was like, man, that is true. It's like you could be the best actor in the world, you could do certain things, but if it just doesn't line up with certain people's visions, then you just got to move on to the next thing. So when he told me that, I was like, I was on the verge of quitting because I was right there. I was like, man, this is crazy.
How much more of this can I take?
How much more can I take? And it's just like constant especially in this industry, just constant rejection. That's the name of the game. You just no until that one yes. And that's what I think it was crazy that people don't see. People don't see the rejections, that the no's that you take back to back, and just knowing that in yourself, you're doing this because this is what you're here to do, like believing in yourself. And that's what I would say, if anybody else is trying to do this as a career, like, just know it's not financially one of those things, like, just because you're in front of cameras, you're on like TV, you're on, like, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you the financial stability that you probably thinking it does, unless you're an A-list actor, of course.
Yeah.
But
a lot of things is smoke and mirrors.
Mhm.
You know, like you see somebody with some sort of success, especially online or a movie, like, wow, they
Yeah.
made it. They probably have
Yeah.
a lot of money. So that's not always true. Or even having businesses, like most people probably don't realize, like when you have businesses, when you go on these like entrepreneur journeys as in acting, whatever it is,
Mhm.
for the first couple of years, you're probably not even gonna make money or
Yeah.
get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been on this entrepreneur journey for like 3 years. Only last year is when I started getting paid from the podcast. And like everything else I did that didn't get paid. And it was the one thing that I did, the podcast, that got paid quicker than the other ones.
Then the
But
other
it's
stuff.
like you build a foundation, you just keep going. And then
Like a trial and error kind of thing. and just-
exactly. I mean, think Jordan brought this up to me too, because I'm like talking about trying to find a manager and agent to help me. He's like, it's like dating. You gotta date around. Like all I'm doing is like talking about like, oh, I want to get a manager, but like
Yeah.
I'm hesitant and I don't want to do this and I'm not sure if it's gonna be the right fit. And he's like, you don't know. You just gotta date around and find the right agent or manager. It's like acting. You gotta date around and
date
try to
around.
find certain roles, certain agencies, and eventually you find the one.
Yeah.
Hoi, no you.
Hoi. Okay, what is the koi
So
no
what I'm saying is,
koi no hoi? Probably
but no,
butchering it right
seriously,
now. Koi no hoi.
it's trial and error, dating around. It's putting yourself in those situations so eventually maybe it'll work out.
Yeah.
And just believing
And
in
just
yourself.
believing in yourself and just remembering why you started.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering why, you have so much passion in this thing. Just because things aren't working out right now, it doesn't mean later down the line it's not going to.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself, I might be broken right now, but one day I won't be.
Mm-hmm.
One day I won't be. And just constantly telling myself that and engraving it into my mind, like, just remember why you started kind of thing.
And then once you do make it, however you measure that success, you can look back and think like, wow, I made it through that.
That's what I mean.
I made it through that season.
Just respecting the hustle and the grind and just enjoy and just seeing it as it's part of the process. It's all a part of the process. And like you said earlier, wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
enjoying
the ride though.
It's amazing. I love hearing people's hardships, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
Tell me all the worst things.
Tell me
that
the worst
happened in
thing
your
that's
life.
ever happened.
But really, it builds so much more respect, and I admire people like that instead of the people who just were handed things. Because I come from Hilo. I'm just a Mililani boy. Like, we've never had anything handed to us. We had a great childhood. I also had a great childhood. Roof over my head, food on the table, great parents, great family. But everything that we're doing, nobody told us to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Just going against the grain.
Yeah, nobody educated us on this. We just sought it out on our own, and we're trying to figure it out as we go. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of life.
Still doing it to this day. Even right now, in this chair right now.
Yeah. We're figuring it out as we speak.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about life. You ever read The Alchemist?
No.
It's one of my favorite books by Paulo Coelho.
I was going to say I played a game called Alchemist, but sorry.
Yeah, Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah.
But one of the quotes is like, it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. And I always hold on to that, So that's what we got to keep doing. Just keep dreaming.
Just keep dreaming. And
because that's what makes life beautiful, is the possibility of having that dream come true.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love it.
Just that one day looking back, I'm like, okay, it was worth it. You know?
Yeah.
Can't wait to
talking with your friends, drinking ava. You guys are just reminiscing about all these things.
Yep. Just look back and be like, okay, it was worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see it at the time, but obviously everything planned out the way it was supposed to. So
yeah, I love that. I'm just gonna read this question because we pretty much already talked about it, but I want to give this person a shout out. BBYX_T4 says, what are some hardships you went through that made you stop your career? Also, congrats to him.
Oh, thank you.
So, I mean, you pretty much answered that question, but I just wanted to throw that out unless you wanted to add anything else. But I do want to get to the question from Peter.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Peter says, Pili Maua?
Yeah. Pili Maua.
Yeah. He says, what kind of acting roles do you see yourself playing in the future? 5 years, 10 years, LOL.
Damn, Peter. 5 years from now. Honestly, I'm open to any kind of action. I love action. I think it's cool. any kind of action role or sports related role, I'd love to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years. If it's a recurring role, even better, you know. But I don't necessarily see like being like I don't know. I want to do my own stunts, but I'm very uncoordinated, and I also have gout. So depending on how I, treat my diet throughout the whole process will determine if I can walk the next day. So I wouldn't be as reliable as a stuntman for my own self, but which I'd love to do. I think it'd be cool. I've always, I grew up watching Jackie Chan and Jet Li and all these master guys that are doing the thing by themselves, for themselves. But yeah, some kind of action role, I would say, in the next 5 to 10 years would be some kind of action or sports related role.
Yeah. Didn't you do like the McRib?
I did the...
Wow, that's action, that's why.
The McRib. It was that was a very stressful role. I think it was the McTerry.
Oh, McTerry, that's what it was.
It's funny because that was like the first comedic commercial I was able to be a part of. So like, and I feel comfortable with comedy. Like I'm not trying to be a comedian. I'm not trying to do stand up or any kind of thing. But I like to not take things seriously. A lot of the time I like to not take things seriously. So I'll try to make a joke out of anything I can on screen just to, I don't know. Because I feel like life is already so serious. Why we got to be so serious? So, but yeah, the McTerry commercial, I remember it going right down my lane of just doing some kind of comedy aspect on a commercial. And I just remember it like, this is pretty cool. This is something. Oh, a comedy role. That would be a future comedy role would be another one.
You guys should just be like the Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider kind of thing. Is that the goal?
We've been trying to. Kalani's the mastermind behind the whole thing too, because he writes all these comedy sketches up that we've been doing recently, and he's been doing it. He's been in his bag with the writing game, and everybody just fits the puzzle perfectly because everybody has some kind of strength. Majority of the guys are actors, so they're really good at what they do. But Kulani himself, he does the writing, and he's good. He's good at it. He wrote a whole movie based, just on an idea that he had, and it's funny. It's genuinely funny, and I feel like with the personalities that we have in this group, we all just combine our powers. We can make some magic.
If I ever get the funding, I'll be one of the first people to fund
one
you
of the
guys.
producers.
Yeah. I would love to. Because I'm such a big fan of what you guys do. That's why you're here. That's why I'm always trying to collaborate with you guys. So if I ever have a chance to,
which you will,
help out,
you will. You're just gonna keep growing from here. Sir.
I would love to just make that happen. But yeah, just know that.
Just know.
Okay. Last question comes from Bex_Garcia808. This person wants to know, how did you meet your fiance and what do you love most about her?
Oh,
we'll end on a lovey-dovey note.
Lovey-dovey note. All right. So my fiance's name is Kristen. And we officially met through a mutual friend. So like how I said, when we were doing the 808 Viral stuff, it was one of the co-stars on 808 Viral. Her name is Haku. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She's going to kill me for that if she sees this. But yeah, her name was Haku. And her best friend was Kristen. And Danny from 808 Viral had given us some tickets to Wet n Wild they were doing like the Pro Bowl block party. That was when they still had the Pro Bowl down here before they switched back to the mainland. But there was tickets to go to this party, and I'm in this stage where I just got out of a crazy 3-year relationship, and I'm just trying to party. I'm about to turn 21. I think I'm like 19 or 20 at the time, and I'm just trying to get out and have fun, explore the world, see what the world has to offer. And Haku ends up, she's like, oh, let's go to that Pro Bowl block party. Bring some friends. I'll bring my friend, and we'll go and have a party. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll bring a couple of my boys. So I brought my boy Capono from earlier, and then my boy Mark, and she brought Kristen. So we show up, and we're talking. I told my boys like, yeah, she's bringing one of her friends. one of her friends. They're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll see what she look like when she pull up.
Yeah.
And so we're all just chilling. They already know what Haku looks like through the videos. And Haku's dating somebody at the time, so she was kind of off limits. And then in comes Kristen. We see him, and we're all just like, damn, not bad, Kristen. So we say hi to Kristen, and we're, being casual. And I think it was like Jamal Charles was DJing.
Oh, really?
At the wave pool or something. Yeah, he was the one DJing. Stick to football, man. that DJ
great
set was kind of
great running back.
Yeah, so he
not
was
so much DJ.
Yeah, he was playing the music, and like in between songs, he would like transition it, but like it wouldn't be like a transition. It was kind of just like, yeah, I'm gonna move the dial right now. So it'd be playing one song, and there's one point where it just paused, and it was just dead silence, and everyone's like looking around, like what's going on. Then he would start another song from the cue. I was like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. So when that party flopped, so we weren't really partying, so we ended up going to eat at Chili's after that. So from there, got to Chili's. We all sat down together and ended up. I forgot what it was. I think I spilled my glass of water on Kristen
because you weren't getting wet and wild enough
Yeah,
over there.
so I was like, you know
take
what?
matters into your own
You
hand.
look kind of dry right now.
Yeah.
Let me just make you wet and wild, and let me tell you, it kind of missed her. I think no, I think it got all over her. And then from there, we I think like a day passed by, and they had like this fundraiser at this bar down by the convention center. They had this fundraiser because they danced hula, so they're getting fundraiser for Mary Monarch, and their Haku is in a halal with Kristen, and they were doing this number there, and so we went to go show support. I think it was called Station Bar and Grill. So we went there, drank, had a good time, said hi, bye, dipped. And as soon as so I don't know this is just the story they tell me, but as soon as I left, Kristen was drunk, I guess. She was really drunk, and then she was just asking, "Where's Russell? Where's Russell?" And I only said hi, hi and bye. And in my head, I'm thinking like, "Oh, she's not feeling me. She's not feeling me." So, yeah, so because of that drunk incident that she had, Haku ended up putting us in a group chat later, and like, she kind of said, "Hey, you guys should go to the movies." Like, kind of already just flat, blatantly out said it, like just trying to set us up already.
Wow.
I'm like, oh no, I see what's going on here. Oh man, I just got out of a relationship. I don't know if I want to do this. Yeah, I'm down, sure. And so she ends up. I'm working at White Kelly at the time. I'm working security, and my shift ends at like, I think like 9:00, and she's like, "Oh, I'll pick you up." So I'm like, I ain't never had a girl pick me up before, but if you want to pick me up, girl, come pick me up. Yeah,
go from my door too.
Yeah. So she ends up showing up, and she shows up in an Infinity Q50. And I'm like, this girl got money too. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'll get in with you. We can go. What we doing? She's like, yeah, let's go watch a movie. I forget. She don't remember either, but I forget what movie it was. But we went to go watch a movie, and I remember she was about to pay for the food. I'm like, no, girl. I'll pay for the popcorn. I'll pay for the drinks. On me, whatever you want. So we got the food. We went to the movie theater, watched and I'm not doing nothing. Like I'm not one of those to like already
make a move.
Make a move. If she wants to make a move, by all means, please do. No move was made. No move was made, and then we go home, and she goes her separate way. And then one day I forgot what it was. I think she came over and we talked story, and then one thing led to another, and then now here we are.
Wow.
7 years later.
7 years.
7 years later. But I kind of knew she was the one when she was. It was something. I think I was working, but I would see how she would take care of my parents when I'd be not around. She'd pretty much treat them like their own, and just seeing how she handled that situation, and just the respect and the she treated me with, At first, it started out kind of bumpy. Like the first 2 years, she had some things in her past that kind of made her insecure about stuff, and I had some things in my past. You're growing together. You're learning how to love each other. So obviously, we'd butt heads for a good two years straight of just like insecurities. Like, well, why are you talking? Why is this girl liking your pic? Why are you liking this girl? It's still, and eventually when we got over that, growing stage, it kind of was an answer to me like, yeah, I think you're the one. You're the one I think I want to, start a family with and do the whole thing. I've never had any like questions. At first I did. I was like, man, this girl crazy. This girl crazy. She going after all my friends like in high school that I was friends with. And we cool. We're like platonic. But just stuff like that. Just growing through that, and especially the drunken nights when I'd have drunken nights and she'd just take care of me like a little baby. Oh man, I'd be saying to myself, one day I'm gonna marry you, girl. One day I'm gonna marry you, girl. And so here we are.
And one day is coming soon.
One day is coming soon. As soon as I find that wedding money. 7 years later.
I love that. I love hearing how people meet. I think they're called mute cutes. I think that's
mute cutes.
Meet cute.
Oh, meet cute.
Yeah, I think that's what they're called, meet cutes. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. Sounds like you found a really good person.
Thank you very much. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for our next guest, and maybe your question will make it on the podcast. We're coming to the end of the podcast, and I just got a couple more questions for you. I ask everybody at this point, what does keeping it aloha mean to them? It's the name of the show. I'm the Mr. Keep It Aloha guy, so I like to hear all different ways of how other people keep it aloha. So in your life, how do you keep it aloha?
Okay. My personal life, how do I keep it aloha? Well, like I said, there are times where I don't want to keep it aloha, and I just want to spur out and just say, yeah, F you. Only in the negative times, but I would say for me personally, putting others' needs before my own, and also treating other, like even random strangers like family, like their family. Like I don't need to know you to be able to call you, yeah, you're my brother, you're my sister, or stuff like that, Giving them that mutual respect that I want, At a young age, I learned the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. So I'm not gonna come out here and be like, yeah, scrub my feet, like stuff like that. Like I'm gonna, I'll treat you with the same respect that I hope that you would show me, and the same love. And even though you're a complete stranger, always treat others the way you want to be treated. So that's how I would say I would keep it aloha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you hear about I think it's the platinum rule or something like that? So this might throw a wrench in the golden rule. So I think I learned this when I was in the Peace Corps, because they taught us like all kind of random stuff. And so we always hear like treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah. But I think the platinum rule, and the one that's more effective, is treat others how they want to be treated. So think about that a little bit. I mean, because you think about it. Have you ever heard of love languages?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a book, and everybody has different love languages. So for me, it's like quality time, acts of service, words of affirmations. At the bottom is receiving gifts. So maybe you're somebody who gives a lot of gifts, and you're always giving me gifts, but I don't really like gifts. Yeah. So to me, that doesn't really fill my cup. But because you like receiving gifts, you think giving somebody else gifts is gonna make them happy. So that's like treating others like how you want to be treated. Yeah. But learning about others and how they want to be treated, that's the platinum rule of treat others how they want to be treated. Because if they want more quality time and they don't really care about the gifts, and you're just giving them gifts, then they're not gonna feel that love. It's not gonna connect. There's no connection. Yeah. So just some food for thought.
Oh, I like that. I'm taking that. I'm taking that and running with it. Oh, that's crazy.
But I do believe that you should treat others how you want to be treated, but also be aware of how they want to be treated. Yeah. So it could be like the platinum golden rule.
I didn't know your name was Gandhi, sir. Man, that's crazy.
Namaste. I have a lot of talks and conversations with people, so I gain a lot of wisdoms. I'm just regurgitating everything that I hear or read or see. Yeah, and I'm also older than you think too.
20, 29,
30. Yeah, 30, gonna be 31 soon. 31. So yeah, got a little life experience. Yeah, still so much to learn.
Taking my notes, sir.
Yeah. But I tell you one thing is another Gandhi moment. I think Socrates said is real wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. And that's I think what I've learned over 100-something episodes.
And I'm done talking. Yeah. I'm done talking for the rest of this podcast. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But that's why I love having these conversations, because I keep learning and unlearning things.
That is
Yeah.
golden rules right there.
Yeah.
Platinum rules.
Yeah. But one thing I want to ask you and get your thoughts on is, how do you measure success? Because to the outside, they're just maybe on surface level. We see, you've been on these commercials, TV shows, you're engaged now, that's success. But for you in your career, like how are you going to measure success? Like at what point are you going to be like content with your success?
I honestly think I'll never be. I'll never be content for myself personally, because I'm constantly trying to better my craft or better whatever I can. But I think if there were any moment like that ever, probably when I'm able to take care of my parents financially, and that'd probably be the tip of the iceberg right there. Just being able to accomplish my goal. Accomplish my goal of paying them back for everything they've given me growing up. I think I'll be able to. I won't be like content, but I'll be like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing something right if I'm able to do this. I'm able to like here, mom and dad, go on a cruise, to wherever you want. Go on a trip to wherever you want. Here's the payment for the house that we're still in debt to. Stuff like that.
That'd be such a great feeling.
I think that would definitely fill my cup. And hopefully, just keep playing, working hard, and just trusting in my gut and whatever God has planned, honestly.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Thanks for sharing that. I was laughing at myself just in my head, and I just have to share this because I'm an overshare, and I just say whatever I think. But when you're like, oh, Gandhi, whatever, like words of wisdom, Kalani's over there pretending to drop a mic, and I'm like thinking like, wow, that was pretty profound, and that was a lot of wisdom. I'm not tooting my own horn, but then I'm thinking like, oh, what if we cut this clip, and like I'm saying all these wise things, and then I'm just wearing this Hawaiʻi shirt.
Gandhi is Hawaiʻi.
Like, can people really take me seriously?
Yeah.
So that's just a random thought. That's what was going into my head after. Oh. But I was listening still. I just had to share that.
You're a prophet, sir. You're a prophet, sir. You Hawaiʻi prophet.
You Hawaiʻi prophet.
You Hawaiʻi prophet. One of its kind.
All right. So also I'd like to dive into culture as well. And we're both Polynesian. I'm part Hawaiian, and you're Samoan. Was there any point in time where you felt insecure about your ethnicity or cultural identity as a Samoan? Like maybe you weren't ever Samoan enough? Or
very much so. Very much so. Even to this day, like I still feel like there's certain times where I do feel that kind of negative energy towards. So, excuse me. A lot of times where I do feel that it's where it could come from like certain family members. Like, so for instance, for me personally, I don't speak Samoan fully. I understand bits and pieces of it. I never learned it growing up. So when my cousins that are from Samoa and they're talking in Samoan, like I always wanted to, to be able to do that. And that's probably one of the biggest, I would say, regrets of not learning it at a young age that I feel, because I'm prideful. I'm just extremely prideful to be Samoan. I'm happy of who I am, my culture, and I've gone through life in certain situations where I'm looked down upon because I can't speak my native tongue. I had certain aunties that'd be like saying it's shameful that I can't speak, and I'll be like, damn, y'all really out here. y'all really straight up about it, and that's just one thing that would constantly get to me. And then I'll see like comments from people calling me like plastic. Oh yeah, he doesn't know how to speak Samoan, so he's not Samoan enough. And it would get under my skin. It still does here and there, but I'm learning to just kind of adapt to this kind of criticism, because I mean I don't know what it comes from a negative place, obviously. So they're dealing with some stuff, and then I'm just trying to realize, like, okay, that's their opinion. That's their choice to feel that way. But at the end of the day, what are they doing for the culture and stuff? I'm not saying I'm doing amazing things for the culture, but
You're representing it.
I'll put my pride in. I'll represent it to the best of my ability, and I'll, it's who I am. I can't change it. I can't change the fact that I'm Samoan, and not that I want to, but I'm not gonna kind of like taper off from what I'm doing because some culture advisor has certain things to say about the way I talk or the way I carry myself. Like at the end of the day, I'll put Samoa at the top every time.
Yeah, and I think representing isn't necessarily like doing everything that all our ancestors did. Like representing Hawaiian culture isn't always being in the lo'i or speaking Hawaiian. Representing Samoan isn't always like cooking some Samoan food or speaking the language or doing whatever they did. It's just like being a good role model for other people and like, being a good person. I'm at the point now because we have so much cultural conversation. I'm like, let's zoom out a little bit. We're all talking about micro stuff. Like the macro view is like, we're just humans.
We're just human. Yeah.
Like
we're all the same person.
We're all the same person, and we're just putting our like different ethnicities under the microscope and trying to dissect every little part of it, where like we talk about certain things like Hawaiian because we live in Hawaii. But okay, well, maybe if I don't eat rice, am I not Japanese enough? Yeah. If I don't go to a Korean barbecue, am I not Korean enough? Am I not Korean enough? Whatever it is, So I feel like we create these own problems in our head, and like what I'm realizing, like I'm not insecure about anything because I'm just gonna live my life and be the best human I can be, and like by doing that, it's gonna represent all the cultures that I am. So if I'm a good human, then if people see me as Hawaiian, then wow, that's a good Hawaiian. And if people see me as Japanese, like wow, that's a good Japanese guy. But the main thing is be a good person, right? Because when we talk about aloha, kindness, respect, all of it, we're not saying like, oh, you have to be respectful because you're Hawaiian. You have to be respectful because you're Samoan. No, that's just common decency. Yeah. Right?
Just to be a good human being.
Yeah, but we're just like putting these
labels.
These labels on to be like Samoan, Hawaiian, whatever, Tongan. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of at right now.
Gandhi. This man's got, I'm over here thinking like, man.
But I mean, having these conversations, doesn't it help you? Like
it does. It helps you more open up about certain
topics. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel more secure, like speaking this
and knowing
out
that
loud.
Somebody goes through the same kind of deal that
And like, I don't know if I'm right. Like, but the goal isn't to be right. It's just to share perspective, and that's my perspective and what I want to share with people now. So take it or leave it. Yeah. So. Yeah, we all go through it. But I think we get so hyper focused on like the small view of it all. Where like I've lived abroad and I've seen the rest of the world, and like, man, we're just a tiny island in the middle of the ocean. There's so much more to just being us. And let's be prideful of who we are, like who we represent. But
because I remember at a young age, so kind of random, but because I watched a lot of like Dragon Ball Z, and I saw that it's Japanese, right? It's a Japanese anime, so I wanted to be Japanese because I wanted to be like Goku. I wanted my hair to be like all crazy. I wanted to go Super Saiyan. It's like I want to be Japanese, and just like as I grew older, obviously, get out of the childish ways of thinking and just realizing who you are as a person and your actual culture, and just falling in love with it, and just owning it till you die.
Yeah. And you can be interested in other cultures. Like I'm super interested in Spanish culture. And I learned Spanish. I lived in Spanish-speaking countries. But it's always like, I think the journey of self-discovery starts with your own, your own culture. Like if you don't feel like you really know who you are, then start at your roots. Like I got back from Peace Corps and I felt disconnected to the Hawaiian culture. So, I took steps to go back to the lo'i, volunteer, do all this stuff, talk to people. And now I feel good about Hawaiian. But I'm still interested in other cultures, or maybe just going to my other. I don't know if you're like 100% Samoan.
100, to what I know, because my birth parents were just Samoan.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And then, but there's also a factor of the host culture.
Mhm.
You're raised here.
Yeah.
So it's like the Hawaiian. So you
the
can be
Hawaiian.
interested in Hawaiian too. I don't know.
I feel you, but that's another thing too. It's like it'd be your own people.
Yeah.
It'd be your own people to tear you down.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to the same community that you're trying to bring up. It's like,
yeah,
like I'm proud to represent you. Why are you punching me while I'm up here? It's like,
So, yeah, I think I'm like thinking of the next step of the podcast, and not. I mean, I'm always gonna talk about culture and represent Hawaii and stuff, but it's like, it gets kind of monotonous just talking about Hawaiian this, Hawaiian that. Everybody thinks this is Hawaiian culture podcast, and I think it's just I want to just be a cultural podcast.
Yeah.
So just like talk about these things, but
Did you do you know how to speak Hawaiian?
Hawaiian is my first language.
Hawaiian is your first language.
I'm blessed because my dad only speaks Hawaiian to us since we were babies.
That's dope.
Yeah, like he'll call me and we'll just be speaking in Hawaiian. So Hawaiian is my first language. English is my second language. Then I learned Spanish, learned Malagasy, trying to learn Japanese now.
Man's a world traveler too. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, but I think there's so many other things outside of our worldview that we shouldn't just be so focused on this. But maybe it's if you master it first, or you feel comfortable where you're at, and then when you're ready, you go spread your wings and stuff.
Yeah. I wish it was as easy as eating the food.
Yeah,
because I can eat a bunch of Samoan food,
Yeah.
A bunch of Spanish food, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's all a personal choice, because I don't put pressure on anybody to do anything. Like, live your life. If you don't want to learn Hawaiian and you're Hawaiian, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're Hawaiian and you want to learn, I don't know, Filipino,
good on you.
Filipino. Like,
yeah.
I think this also comes from like I broke up with my ex-girlfriend in August last year because I didn't want kids, and I realized like that's just like we're raised to be like, okay, get a job, or go to college, get a job, start a family, raise kids,
die.
Yeah. And I just realized I could just create my own life.
Yeah.
I can just do whatever I want, live it however I want. And who's going to stop me? Like, people can have their opinions, but nobody's going to stop me.
Only you can stop
So
you.
like I tell you, I'm at a place where nothing anybody does bothers me. Like, literally, like, gone. Like, I feel like a monk in the last couple months,
So you're gonna get a haircut after this?
I could. I did shave all my hair off at once when I was in the Peace Corps.
That's dope.
But
bro.
yeah, I hope everybody gets to this point. And I know, I don't know if you ever experienced like you think you like know everything, or you're like at the peak, and then you're there and you're like, life is good, whatever, and then you see there's another mountain. It just keeps like getting, and that's when the whole Socrates quote comes in. It's like, wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Because every time I think I got it all figured out, I'm just like, wow, I really didn't.
See, I'm trying to get where you are right now, because I'm just like, what am I doing again? I'm constantly questioning myself.
But then I went to that.
The right way?
I went to that. I'm just a couple years ahead of you. So like, there's a clear path, and it's not simple, but there's a path. So I think it's just taking a step forward,
slowly, one step at a time.
Yeah. Oh, we got really deep in the podcast. Yeah. Let's wrap up. Because I just have I think a couple more questions. What is something you wish people knew about you that they don't?
That's I think you got me there, Chief.
What do you think people misunderstand about you, maybe?
Okay. Well, maybe that I'm an introvert at heart. Like, all this stuff we do on screen, even to the acting thing. Like, even though in my head I don't like doing it in a way. I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but
no, I understand.
It's like I really don't like a lot of the attention. I don't like. I don't. But it just makes me at peace when I do it. When I'm acting, when I'm doing these skits that we do, I have fun time. But maybe just I'm an introvert at heart. And if you're introverted and you feel this gut feeling like you can be an actor, go for it and something that's totally out of your lane that you think you can't do, all you got to do is put your mind to it, and you can do it.
Well, I understand that because I realized that when Justin was on the podcast and he said he's really introverted, but the acting is like it helps him be more social and more outgoing.
Yeah.
So a lot of actors I can see being introverted, and when you're like you don't know how to explain, like because you like what you're doing, but you also don't like it, and that's how I feel with the stuff I do on social media. Because I'm a homebody.
Yeah,
I'm more introverted. But I love the one-on-one conversations. And like another quote, I don't know if you saw the clip we posted with Justin, where people think that they're introverted because they like to be alone, and but really you're not introverted. You just like your peace. So you're extroverted around people that bring you peace. So you're introverted, but like around your boys, man, you guys have a good time. You're cracking jokes. You feel at peace, right?
Yeah, very much.
So around them, you're extroverted. So it just really depends about who you're with.
The situation.
Yeah.
Everything.
And like, so whoever brings you peace, that's who you're.
But even getting to that step was like, that was a stretch.
Yeah.
Like how I said in the
from
your growing
childhood,
up. From childhood, like, I'm not one to make the first but I will talk. Like, I'll make the conversation keep going just so there's no dead silence or it doesn't get awkward. But in my head, I'm just like, man, I am freaking out right now. I am going crazy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm like you, but I think I've gotten so good at being uncomfortable in situations and just pushing through it where I'm like, I'd wait till somebody talks to me or somebody comes with me with opportunity.
Yep.
But at this point, I'm like, okay, I have to be the one to like sometimes push it forward.
That's a crazy skill to have because
Yeah.
I'd love to have that one day. But I just have that. I get in my head a lot.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, I
how do I think? How do I
Yeah.
talk? I all of a sudden I'll start talking about, live on TV about some taking ice baths with men. And then in my head, I'm like, that's a great thing to talk about.
Yeah.
So specific, so I had a story, side story.
Yeah.
We were on the news for the Next Goal Wins that came out.
I remember seeing it.
And we were getting interviewed on live TV, and beforehand she kind of like broke down the questions, like, okay, I'm gonna go over this, who you worked on the project with, and then what was your most memorable moment on the movie, and we'll ask about other things. And I'm like, okay. And me, John, and David are all sitting there. We're like, okay, going over who's gonna answer what. And then I just so happened to have the question, like, what was the most important scene in this movie for you? And because I'm so nervous and, like, I don't know how to talk and I'm trying to make sure I say the right thing. And I'm like, should I slip a joke in there? No, I don't know. And it immediately comes to me and I'm like, okay. So my most memorable scene on set was we took an ice bath and I was in the ice bath with half naked men. And that was my answer. And I just remember that and just beating myself up after. I was like, what was I thinking?
I would have said that too if David was in the scene.
Yeah, see, that's what.
Yeah. So I understand.
Right? So it's not just me.
Yeah, it's not just you. Yeah, it's not just you.
Okay, well,
we'll blame David for that.
Yeah, David,
put on a shirt.
Stupid.
No, I love that. But yeah, I'm excited for your journey and to see how far you go. I mean, you've had a lot of good opportunities, and it's just the beginning.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, like everything that we're doing now, it's just the beginning. Even though this is the worst you're ever gonna be at something. The content you put out is just, it's probably at the lowest level you're ever gonna be. We have so many years to go.
That's crazy.
Even this podcast, like, I'm sure I'll look back on this because like how I look back at the first couple episodes and be like, wow, that was terrible.
Yeah.
And even though I feel good right now, I'm sure in like 5 years I'll be like, wow.
When I look back on my content I did before, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, but just put it out.
Just put it out there just because it's something.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
So, I just have, actually, you got to share your life hack before I get to my last questions.
My life hack.
Yeah.
Okay. Life hack. Here we go. Watch out, don't get gout. If you need me to explain what that, so gout is a certain type of arthritis that a lot of Polynesians and Filipinos will get if it can be man, I feel like a doctor right now. It can be like genetics
or hereditary,
or you eventually develop it through poor eating habits. And just watch out. Make sure you don't get gout. Take care of your body. Health is wealth. Yeah.
That's actually a really good one.
It's a good life hack.
Yeah.
Because if you have gout, depending on what joint it decides to attack, you won't be able to walk. So I limp in a lot. So there's a lot of videos we do that I've had probably no working legs during, but I have to act like I do during these gout attacks, and they can last from anywhere from a couple days to a couple months.
Yeah, I've seen people with that. I never really understood it, but I know it's very painful.
Yeah. So you ever sprained an ankle before?
It's like that.
Exactly like
multiple times.
Depending on where, what joint it decides to attack. Dang. So yeah, life hack: watch out, don't get gout.
Yeah, take care of your health.
Take care of your health.
Nice. That's a great answer. Okay.
You want a serious answer?
Yeah, serious, but funny, but not that funny.
Yeah.
So these are my last fast fave 5 questions. They're just rapid fire answers. Favorite way to recharge?
Sleep.
That's very literal.
Sleep. Yeah. Favorite way to recharge?
True, yeah.
But I feel like I'm a bear in my past life because I'll sleep for like hours on it.
Hibernate.
I'll just hibernate.
Yeah.
Like even a beach day, going to the beach and just cleansing the body in the salt water. It just feels there's some magical powers between at least with the beaches here.
Yeah.
And I felt like I'll have some kind of ache, like I'll have a gout attack, and I'll limp myself into that water. I'll come back out not limping as much, it's still there, but it's like certain even like body aches and stuff. Just getting in the salt water, coming out after a gym session,
believe that.
Just feel rejuvenated and I'd say
okay.
Sleep in the beach.
Sleep and beach. Okay, since you're an engaged man now, I want to know, what is your favorite date night activity or daytime, whatever? Just your favorite date activity.
Oh, eat. Eating at sushi. Eating some sushi.
Okay, where? What's a good spot?
We go to this restaurant named Sakura in Mililani. So it's kind of, they kind of got like a hibachi section, and they have the sushi chef that serves whatever is on the menu.
Awesome.
So, eat a sushi.
I love sharing
eat some
a meal.
Sushi. Even watch a movie night at the theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll take that over the staying home kind of deal.
Because then you're introverted, you don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Because most people say you shouldn't go to a movie so you can talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But Russell,
see, that makes sense.
I don't want to talk.
Man, Gandhi with a capital G.
All right, favorite Hawaiian food?
Oh, squid luau.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Favorite TV show / movie? However you want to answer it, or both.
TV show, does anime count?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Nice. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z guy, DBZ guy.
And what?
Or a movie, but
and
it's either or both if you want. If you have a movie in mind.
Movie in mind. There's a lot of them out there. What is my favorite movie though? There's so much genres.
First one that comes to head.
First one that comes to head. If I'm thinking comedy, Rush Hour.
Oh, nice.
Rush Hour.
Classic.
Rush Hour.
Classic.
The whole trilogy.
Yeah. Okay, and favorite song right now?
Favorite song right now? Yeah. Ooh.
I know it's a tough one, but
that is a tough one.
What is a song you've been listening to a lot?
I'm a huge Chris Brown fan.
Oh.
So there's just one song on there. It's his first song on his album. It's called Angel Numbers.
Oh, okay.
And I think that'd be my
I gotta listen to that.
Right, super good.
I've been on a big country kick.
Oh,
country. Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of Zach Bryan.
Zach Bryan?
Yeah, okay. But that's all we have for you today. Mahalo for coming in, sharing your stories.
Thank you, bro.
Talking stories, getting deep on the podcast. Is there anything you want to share before we wrap up? If not, tell us where we can find you.
Nothing that I can think of that I can share right now, but you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, on the side of the road doing this sometimes when I run out of gas. But it's all at Russell Satele.
And that's what 2 S's and 2 L's.
2 S's and 2 L's. Yes.
Okay. Right on. Well, mahalo, Russell, for joining us on the Keep It Aloha podcast. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kameaaloha. Remember to always keep it aloha.
Mahalo for having
on.
me. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, that's fun.
Whew.